Happy Saturday evening. Hopefully, you guys are all having a good night and you have your helmets ready because, Sniffers is back on the scene. Sniffers, sniffers, sniffers. So, we're going to talk about it. We're going to debunk some misinformation. Let's go. Everybody doing? What y'all up to? Hold on just one moment. I'm grabbing some clips I want to share. Give me 1 second. All right. How's everybody doing? Sorry. I was over here. I changed the StreamYard setting to dark mode. So my background, everything's black on my screen and it's tripping me out. It's not what I'm used to. So I need to fix that when I'm done because I don't like it. I thought I'd like it. Nope, definitely don't. First and foremost, you guys, I have gotten a ton of emails today. I have not gotten to them. There's only been a couple that I've actually had time to respond to, but I will respond to each and every one of you. Most of them seem to be in regards to memberships. I did go over what happened with memberships earlier today. I had to delete a tier in order for the gifted memberships to continue to be at the $199 instead of the $499 when people were gifting them. Just a quick once over so everybody is aware. Some people, I think, missed what had happened, but that $499 tier is completely removed. There's a $1.99 and a $5.99 option, a 99-cent option, and a $9.99. Anyways, you just have to renew. But what I'm seeing, I got a screenshot of even the gifted memberships at that $4.99 were refunded. I'm not sure when, like if they were gifted recently. I'm not sure how that works. I don't have any information from YouTube. It just kind of did what it did. So if you were gifted one and got booted from last month, I'm not really sure how that works out. If the people who were gifted were refunded, I'm not sure. There's not really any information from YouTube that I could find. So I'm sorry again for the chaos and confusion, but hopefully it'll be easy now going forward. So again, I'm sorry. I will drop the membership link in a little bit too for anybody that wants to rejoin. It's just that $4.99 tier that got impacted again. I apologize. Hey, Pika. Hey, Duchess. Hey, Tori. You couldn't see the time anymore. That's weird. Hey, Loose Lucy, Rondi, Sharon. Yep. Tracy. Steph. Oh, you overdid it today. I'm sorry. You need to take some time down. Hey, Revival. Justin's theory aligns with this bullshit. Yeah, Chasing. Imagine that. Kind of concocted to fit a narrative, right? Yeah. No, yeah, cars. Yeah, Chasing. Yes. All of it. And you notice it's the team members, the select team members going through it. Hey, Catherine. I'm ready to play tonight, by the way. I'm fully ready. So, hey, Nurseykins, Angel Sleuth, Maximum Effort. We'll go up to the office in a minute. Hey, Chatty. I even wore a special shirt to trigger the fuck out of everybody again. Hey, Eastern girls. Hey, X. Maximum effort. I don't think so, maximum effort, but I would Google or ask a doctor. I don't think they are, though. Hey, inspired by flavor. X, thank you for becoming a member. Hey, Timu swimming pool. Yeah, Dutch. There's Duchess. Duchess has already answered. That's not medical advice either, just to protect everybody's asses. Hey, Bo. Let me get through all these really quick. Sorry, guys. Hey, Aries. Hey, Sheila. Well, I'm going to piss people off like I normally do. Hey, Nature Rocks. A lot of people have talked about this, but there hasn't been any debunking of it. So that's kind of like, huh? What the hell? Hey, Kathy R. Like, people talk shit about it, but they're not like putting effort into debunking it. And that's what we're going to do. I've got some clips pulled up to debunk some stuff. Hey, inspired by flavor again. Hey, Mal. This black background on this StreamYard is really tripping me out. Hey, Steph. Hey, Yoper Gal. Just Robin. Chasing, I can tell you're fired up. Hey, Marcy. All right. Describes your mood. Oh, Aries, I'm sorry you're sick. Hey, Lily Polly. Angel Sleuth. Andrea Mama 5. See, I can't even tell. Cat's Eye. Lauren. Yeah, definitely switched it back. But it's not going to update on this one. Hey, Thor. Hey, NorCal Jim. Wolf Rider. Good to see you. Marigold is valid. Darby C. I'm hurrying, you guys. I know you guys are all like, get to it, nonsense. Let's talk this shit. Hey, Brantley. I'm really sorry, you guys. I know, maximum effort, I don't get it. Like, the emails that they sent out are really weird. I've seen some of them. Hey, sending good karma, and I'm sorry, it really just caused a conflict. I was trying to help, and it seemed to backfire a little bit. I think it'll be good from going forward, but hey, Chantel. Hey, yep. I always got to switch things up and be a pain in the ass. Kathy ain't got no time for BS. Tracy, thank you for being an Islander for 7 months. There's not freaking cars. I know. You can't roll your eyes enough. Well, if you roll them hard enough, you might be able to check out your own ass. Hey, Wolfie. We are playing Sniffers on the scene. Bullshit once again. Yinzy are salty. Is that right? Yins are salty. Welcome in. Thank you for popping out of the bushes and saying hello. Hey, Remy. There's a lot of newer names lately. Hey, Pam. By the way, if you got hit by the storm, please stay safe. I know there's a lot of people that are in pretty bad shape after the storm. Hey, Tonka girl. So my thoughts go out to everybody. There's some real bad destruction that happened. Hey, baby boop. Shop, it's good to see you. Give the baby snuggles for me. Angel Sleuth, thank you for the gifted memberships. Welcome to the cabana. If you got a gifted membership, please thank Angel. Sammy. Diana. I'm hurrying, you guys. Hey, Slim. Hey, Tia. Snazzy. Evie Marie. This does not work for my eyesight. The deflection is, I'm bitching today. You can only imagine what this is going to be. Hey, Shaza. All right. Are we almost there? Sheila. Yeah. Oh, chasing. Good question. I don't know. Hey, Snowflake's Nightmare. Hey, Steph. Thank you for being a member for 17 months. One of the OG Islanders. Look at that. Oh, Sharon, I'm so sorry. I really hope you get some answers soon. If there's anything we can do, Sharon, please let us know. If you want us to share it out, you can email me and I will gratefully share it out. Anything we can do. Tia, thank you for being a member. Hey, Tia, other Tia. Tia. Back to back. All right. Petty Crocker. Let me roll. Turtle, 0. Good to see you. I think Helen. Hello. Do not change your background to the dark mode. It doesn't work. Hey, Steven's Adventures. Judy, good to see you again. I feel like the other people that carry these on for 45 minutes. Hey, Karma. I'm like kicking my own ass right now. Agatha Misty, hello. Okay, let's go. Okay, we're going to start here, but I'm going to throw in some clips as we go, and this is probably going to be a longer one because we're not only going to debunk the most recent shit, we're going to start with that, but we're going to walk ourselves a little bit backwards, and I've got some clips to include here also, but I want to remind everybody, first and foremost, we are going to start right here because this is what I want people to remember of what is actually going on. All right, this is the press conference. This was from 4/2/24, but nothing has changed in this since. All right.
I want to let everybody know he has not been forgotten. Nobody's forgotten about him. Nobody has given up looking for him. At the beginning of this investigation, there was a large land search for him. It was very visible. There were also waterways, lakes, ponds that were searched. There were aerial searches with helicopters and drones and fixed wing planes. They were done at night. They were done on weekends. They were done during the day. That was very visible, and it was something everybody was able to see. But we want to let you know that even though there is not that high visibility in investigating this case, that we are not done. It's gone back to what could be considered good old-fashioned police work. Interviewing individuals, re-interviewing individuals, checking out leads, rechecking leads. We have been working with other law enforcement agencies who have had, in other jurisdictions, who have perhaps had some complex cases of their own that they have worked on to get tips from them. We have had, this day of technology with everyone having cell phones and doorbells and ring bells and surveillance cameras. That, as you can imagine, has been a bit of a chore to be able to collect all those and then review them. It's important so we know what's out.
Agatha, this is from April 2nd, 2024.
There, we have been reviewing that, reviewing it again. We have had other agencies involved. The FBI has been helpful in that. Secret Service has also been helpful in that. So we are just trying to do whatever we can to advance the investigation. It has not gone to a place where anybody has forgotten about him or is not pursuing this. The parents have been cooperative throughout. At the beginning of the investigation, they have pretty much done whatever law enforcement has asked of them. At this point, we don't have any evidence.
The parents have been cooperative.
There is not any kind of an indication that there is a criminal element involved. But we are keeping options open. We don't know what has happened. We don't know where Sebastian is right now. So we are pursuing any and all avenues. We do want to caution there are some social media elements out there who purport to have information that is direct from the investigation. I just want to reiterate that is not the case. Some of the information that is being provided on some of the social media channels is inaccurate, incomplete. We don't want this to damage the investigation. So we would just caution anyone who is following the case to just use some caution as to what you see and what you believe. It's caused a bit of a distraction because a lot of what has been out there in some of the social media channels has been rumors and speculations and theories, and some of that has been advanced and people have caught a hold of it as if it's what's really happening. That has resulted in us getting information that is either, like I said, distracting. It's taking away time and effort from what the agencies need to be doing as far as looking for Sebastian. All
right. I just wanted to remind everybody of that right there. Steph, thank you so much for the gifted memberships, y'all. Welcome to the cabana. If you got a gifted membership from Steph, please tell her thank you. I wanted to remind people of this. And the reason for it is because people need to be very cautious with what you're taking in and running with this fact. None of that has changed from jump. We have no indication that the parents have not been cooperative. These crazy theories, these crazy stories that are cooking up by people like Sniffers on the scene. And let's back it up for a minute before I rip this guy to shreds. Let me remind you of who this motherfucker is. This is Bloop dropping off a body. This is Walmart tip from an anonymous source of an email. Months later, he couldn't get anybody to bite on that tip. He sends it to Silvers. Silvers makes up this entire story along with it, goes to Walmart, demands that he sees the cameras at Walmart, thinks he's owed some sort of explanation. They didn't give it to him, wouldn't let him see the cameras. Then he sends it into law enforcement. Come to find out, there was none of that was claimed in the email that even took place. He came back and updated. Sniffers is Sniffers for a reason, because his dumbass was out there sniffing the air for bodies as he's driving down the road, just boop, dumping off a body. This guy has been a nothing but a joke and a child that is missing. A child is missing. 15-year-old Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee. He has been missing since February 26th. And this self-serving piece of shit, motherfucking trash bag, has been playing games and acting like he knows something. And I'm fired up, and I'm going to stay that way because this is disgusting. This is filthy. Has nothing to do with shit, but they had to get another piece to their little puzzle that they're trying to put together, you know, these armchair detectives. And I can't wait to watch every one of you get what's coming to you. We have no indication that the parents are involved, any of them, Chris, Katie, or Seth, in the disappearance of Sebastian. There is zero indication. The parents have been cooperative. Their stories have been vetted. Nobody has been cleared because there isn't even a crime on the table. And things like this are dangerous to do in an active missing child's case, because what you are doing is trying to lead people to believe that something horrific happened to this child, and people stop looking. People stop paying attention to their surroundings and noticing things. This is dangerous. This is negligent. And how selfish is this to do? To get some clicks and views off of a missing child. You adults sicken me. And this is being pushed and ran through the little team. Again, why do they need a distraction? This is about as bad as whoever's running Dog the Bounty Hunter's account coming out here and trying to put some thought in people's heads that Dawn Wells and Katie might have a family connection. Y'all are acting like clowns, but what are you up to? What's the big distraction for? Why are we circling back around? Y'all are up to something, but nothing but spinning your tails and making a mockery out of a missing minor. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Let's go. I'm not going to be nice, and you'll see why.
Silver's on the scene. It is Friday, September 27th, and I hope everyone's week has been great. Mine has, and I'm hoping that yours has as well. The weekend is here. The weekend is here. Let's jump right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is big. I'm a week of having this information. 1 week. And I'm ready to share it with you. It's big. Let's go. Sebastian Rogers missing 214 days, over 7 months. To the day, 7 months was yesterday, September 26th. Gone from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. 15 years old, autistic. Where is Sebastian? I'm going to take a minute. I just want to play this real quick because you'll understand. Let me just play it really quick. Here we go.
What a freaking lame intro.
That there's a reason.
Sorry, hold on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the reason I wanted to play that, okay? The reason I wanted to play that, there's a reason. We won't forget you. We won't forget you. We won't forget you. That's a promise. Say his name. Sebastian Rogers. That is so relevant to what we are about to discuss, because I think this information is big. And
Of course he thinks it big. He thinks sniffing the air is big. He thinks a freaking house that is abandoned off the road in Mississippi, 20 feet off the road, is a big deal. He was so scared of his own fucking shadow. He was going in there with his little walking stick. That's this guy, this clown.
let me say this. I started asking questions, but how I got to speaking to someone, it just came to me. It's one of those things where I fully believe Silver's on the scene. When you put yourself out there on the scene and you are looking for this boy, things will find you. So where do we go? Let's jump right into it.
Oh, things are going to find you, motherfucker. Trust and believe things are going to find you. Does anybody know what this is? Anybody have any idea just off the picture before he even talks? I'm sure most of you in the chat do. How many other people have we seen go to Chris's job site? This is Chris's job site in Memphis. This is St. Jude Hospital. JLR, Betty. They've all tried this. Unsuccessfully, but they've tried it before.
It's right here. This is the job site.
Supposedly, this guy, this is going to even scare you even more. Supposedly, this guy is retired law enforcement. I can't prove that. I haven't looked into it any further, but that has been one of the claims. He came out of nowhere when this story started gaining some weird traction and inserted himself as boots on the ground, keeping the Proudfoot family under surveillance. That's who he came from, or where he came from. And hi, Philly. But he has been an absolute clown. I've covered him. I actually started covering him a few months ago. And he's done, he was driving from Horn Lake to Hendersonville, and he's driving down the road and he goes, what was he thinking? Bloop, just dropping off a body. This guy is a fucking clown.
Of Christopher Proudfoot. Oh, let me stop. Hold on. One thing. Let me jump in here. What I was told, and everything in here is allegedly, in my opinion. So
guess what? Allegedly, and in my opinion, doesn't save your ass. Not at all. Not one fucking bit.
I was told information. I'm about to share it. I think it's big. I think it's huge. I was told information by a co-worker of Christopher Proudfoot's. So I'm taking that information. I'm sharing it. I'm not going to share any names. Okay. There's a couple of details. I'm not going to get too specific. I'll get specific enough you'll understand.
So we've got another unnamed source. We've got another source from the clouds. Another alien dropped off, and here we've got more stories. So completely unvetted source. You heard in the first opening clip, FBI, law enforcement, meaning the TBI, Sumner County, have all been involved. The parents have been cooperative. Nick Barris even took it up a step and said that their stories have been fully vetted.
But just to make sure, there's no blowback back to the person I spoke to. But here's the big thing. I'm going to take what I was told, and then I'm going to put my spin on it, right? Someone says this, and I'm going to tell you what I think about that. And that's allegedly, in my opinion. And I may repeat that throughout the video, but also taking what I was told is allegedly in their opinion. However, they interacted directly with him as they work with him. So,
okay, sure. We're just supposed to believe that. I'm speeding this guy up too because we got a lot to get through.
Just want to throw that up there. So that's where we're at. And back to, we will not forget you, Sebastian. That's a promise. You're going to see how relevant that is and what I'm about to share with you. So the job site, as you know, in my video of searching in Memphis, as well as yesterday's recap where I talked about Memphis, I really didn't even know I was going to go by the job site when GPS was taking.
Sorry, inspired by, I'm fired up and I'm just irritated because this has all been none of this. Again, we don't even have a crime here. Sebastian very easily could have walked out of that house on his own, under his own free will. We have no idea. But right now, what we know is that their stories have been vetted. He's taken a polygraph, according to Seth's mom, even. Chris has, and passed with the TBI. That was Robin Rogers made that post on Facebook. We've heard Seth say repeatedly that Chris wasn't there. But here we go back. We're going back 7 months later. And why are they amping up again? Think about it. The team members, Betty, she's going back to the initial interviews and picking apart the pieces and the words that they've said. None of them have been able to debunk a single thing, but they've created new narratives and theories with cars and threats and all this bullshit to add into the speculation and wild theories.
Me to my location of search. Did not know I was going by the job site. And there it is. And you see the cranes, right? We know Chris was a crane, tower crane operator, right? And so he worked on one of those cranes. Now, this is big. Information from the job site. Chris Proudfoot job site. Did you know? Because let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I put the did you know in there because I don't think I knew any of these things. I knew things related to them, but you're about to see what I was told. I did not know this. And after being told these, I got very emotional, and I'll explain that when I cover everything I was told.
Already starting the emotional manipulation of the subs right off the bat. That's what they do to get you drawn in, to tell you, I'm bringing huge information. You don't know this. I didn't know this. It made me be so emotional. Instantly pulling on his subs and people to run with these things. And it's working because he's got over 17,000 views on this video that he dropped last night.
But did you know? So as you listen to these things, did you know?
Aussie Trisha, thank you for the support. Oh, I missed another one. Sorry, guys. I'm doing terrible at this. Oh, I got them all. Never mind. Okay.
These things, because I don't think these things are out there. And it's going to lead us right to, we won't forget you. The people that are out looking and searching for Sebastian, who are trying to bring him home and find him. But did others forget you? Did others forget you on the same day you went missing? Allegedly, in my opinion. Yes, they did. So let's dive into it, right? Let's dive into it. Let's not waste any time. You know, I watch YouTube videos and I go, why are you wasting so much time? Let's dive into it. And we're going to do it like this, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this up here. And that is right here. And then I'm going to throw this up there.
He has to pull everybody in and manipulate everybody.
Right here. Okay, so here's what we know. We're going to do this like this because I want to reveal these things to you as we go through. I'm going to keep Sebastian over here so we can see him. What did I learn? What did I learn? So here's how this came about. I made a visit to RV to make sure, an RV place in Memphis that I'd never been to see if Chris had stayed there. Because based on where I was looking, it would make sense for Chris to stay there. It's the closest RV to the job site. While I was there, I learned a lot. Let's jump into it. I was able to speak to someone who worked with Chris, because Chris is not working there now. You know, one of the questions somebody asked, I was talking to more than one person. Where's Chris now? I don't care where Chris is. I'm not worried about where Chris
It's none of your fucking business
is now until we find Sebastian. And when we do, then we'll focus on that. That's your get justice part, right? Get justice. Let's find him.
So instantly setting up that they don't care until Sebastian's found, and then it's getting justice, meaning that, again, trying to imply that Chris is involved some way. We have no idea. There's no indication from law enforcement that any of the parents are involved whatsoever.
Let's keep the awareness alive and find him. So what did I learn? Here we go. Diving in. Big. RV not at job site. So by coming by the job site for the first time and seeing it, my thoughts are, you could not put, not just Chris, but anybody that worked there could not park their RV on that job site and just wake up and come right out and work. There's really not room for it. So talking to the person, I said, hey, could he have put his RV here? Oh, no, absolutely not. No one can. Okay, so there were a lot of comments. So Chris was at the job site, his RV. It was not. Not only was it not at the job site, Chris's RV was not at the Memphis park that I was speaking to. Okay, it's about 8 miles from the job site, 6 miles from the location I was looking at when I was looking for a possible body bag. Great.
When I was looking for a possible body bag. When I was looking for a possible body bag. So anybody that's been following this case actually knows that how this actually goes is Chris was at work, according to what we know, in Memphis, Tennessee, on a job site when he got the call from Katie that Sebastian was missing. He got clearance to leave later on that morning, drove back to Hendersonville, Tennessee, and appeared at the neighborhood. Seth was already there at his house when he arrived from the job in Memphis. Days later, he had to go pick up his RV, like 8-9 days later. I think it was 9 days later, somewhere in there. I might be off a day. They went to pick up the RV because he wasn't even sure what was going to happen with his job. During that time, law enforcement had them closely watched. They knew every step that the parents were taking. But here's this guy setting a whole scene of things that supposedly we didn't know.
Straight shot into the RV. From the RV to the job site, so it would make sense. And there are people that work at the job site that are staying there. We discussed Yogi and Easy Days and all these other ones, but this one, he was not there. Furthermore, the one thing I didn't discover, one thing I did not learn is where he was the night Sebastian went missing. The thoughts were this, because I asked the question, the thoughts were,
even though chasing, their theories are, they're trying to fit those theories or this into that theory that they've been running with. They've been fabricating a whole narrative. But here's the thing. The Secret Service has even been involved in detailing the data and collection. We know that they downloaded all of their cell phones right away the first day. We know that the job site was contacted and vetted. We know that the FBI went to where his RV was parked. We know that his RV was checked. We know, and these are conversations that have been had. Seth has confirmed a lot of these conversations, and I can pull a bunch of them up if you guys haven't heard these things either. Seth has confirmed a lot of these things. Seth himself has said that Chris wasn't there. We know that supposedly, according to what we've heard by them, again, it's all hearsay. We don't know what we don't know, but going off of the details of the parents themselves, stories, we know that they had Life 360. Chris did. That also tracks all of their movements and stuff. His GPS on his truck, his Wi-Fi on his truck would place him. So what did he get? Another car? So he would have had to borrow a car from somebody, right? There's no way he could have just miraculously avoided all traffic cameras, license plate readers, rented a car, all of these things without law enforcement knowing something at this point. But sure, these guys are smarter than law enforcement, right?
More than likely Yogi.
Oh,
Okay, but we're not 100% sure on that. Okay, what's next? Shady.
hey, babe.
Shady, not to trust. The words I was told were this. I believe he's a shady person and would not trust anything he says or does.
I believe that you're a shady motherfucker, and I don't trust a word you say, but you've proven why you're a shady motherfucker. Go on.
Would not trust anything he says or does. That's really not revelation, because we've all heard him in his interviews where we see him or where he calls into channels or podcasts or ever how he's talking. This is allegedly in my opinion, but at the same time, I don't know Chris Proudfoot. I've never met him. I've never spoken to him. All I have to go on are his own words and behaviors. And I've said this before. Go back, find some videos. His words and behaviors make him unlikable, make him suspect in this entire scenario. Where is Sebastian?
From my understanding, yes, Life 360 tracks your movements and on your cell phone, and they downloaded all that data right away. They collected all the data. That's why the Secret Service, the FBI, the TBI, Sumner County, like there was a lot of data that they collected off of phones and so on and so forth, trucks, vehicles, security systems of the neighbors in the area, like all of this stuff. And here's the thing, I want to go back and mention this right off the top too. This trash truck not being a trash truck, right? So they keep telling you all these neighbors have confirmed, came out and confirmed that Brittany, not Miss Brittany, but Brittany, the neighbor. Hold on, you guys, just a second. Sorry, Kenzie was just updating me on the dogs being fed. Anyways, the trash trucks, right? So all these neighbors have cameras, and none of the neighbors, they continue to say that that wasn't a trash truck, the law enforcement's lying, blah, 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 blah. But not one of the neighbors with all these cameras has been able to come out and confirm that there was a vehicle that came through that area. They have not came out and showed video of when the trash truck actually went through. We know the trash truck went through. They collected garbage that day. But not one of these neighbors that's giving all this information can come out and debunk anything with factual proof. They're scared. They're all these things. But not one of them will come off and show this is actually when the trash truck came through. This is when these lights are from. None of them can. Oh, that's right, because the cameras were jammed, right? That's the other narrative that they've been building up about the lights.
Rogers. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one I saved it. I put it kind of in the middle. Relieved at 11 a.m. Yeah, there's that pause. Let me pause a little longer.
Anybody remember what time Chris supposedly got to Hendersonville? Anybody remember that? KDK, thank you for the support.
Relieved at 11 a.m. Chris was deemed unsafe on the job site. Yeah, you heard me right. Unsafe. Safety risk for himself and others. That is a big job he does. If you don't understand.
Penny, what the fuck does me have to do? What? What does me being in Arizona have to do with any fucking thing? You are such a shit starting stupid bitch, aren't you, Penny? You come in here talking shit. I let you sit in my fucking chat because I just like watching you make a fucking goddamn fool out of yourself. Go sit back with BJ. Go sit over there and fucking suck up some more. Go do your stupid shit somewhere else because this is harmful to a missing child. Guess what? Spanky's not in fucking Tennessee either. He's in West Virginia. What does me being in Arizona have a fuck thing to do with a goddamn thing? And everybody knows I'm in Arizona. And bitch, what? What? People like you are a disgrace to the human race.
Tower crane operator, let's just throw this picture out here back up. You see how tall these things are? You see that these buildings are.
And by the way, I've let that bitch talk enough shit and come in here and do shit like that to me over and over again. If you don't understand, don't be a stupid ass. We can agree to disagree on a lot of stuff. But when you are intentionally attempting to paint a narrative about a missing child, this is dangerous. Trying to get people to not look for the child because you think that something horrific happened to the child actually is dangerous because this shit is being handled by law enforcement, not these fucking armchair detective YouTubers.
They're made with iron. These are iron beams, steel beams that are lifted up by these cranes that Chris operates. So what I'm saying is, if you got to be clear-headed, you got to be sharp and focused. And evidently Chris is, he wouldn't be doing this job. Let's give him credit. Evidently he's sharp and focused and he can operate one of these because he's up there. He's way up there himself operating this thing. But on this day, ooh, we don't want that revealed. Hold on. On this day at 11 a.m., 4.5 hours. That's right. 4.5 hours after reporting his stepson missing, meaning three-way call with Katie, 6:30 a.m. Not only is he still working, he's still working at 11 a.m. We'll talk about that in a minute. But he was relieved because he was not focused.
So we're supposed to believe all of this based off of an unvetted source. We're supposed to believe all of this information off a non-vetted source that claims that they worked with Chris Proudfoot. Okay.
Not focused, off. OFF. He was off. On the
Of course he would be off if he thought his son was missing.
same day, his stepson goes missing. So he was relieved. Chris wants to tell you, everyone listen, myself and anyone who will listen, that the reason he didn't get home till 1:30 or 2, leaving the job site at 11, I don't know if he specifically said 11, but he probably did, was because no one was there to relieve him. BS.
Oh, this makes me so mad.
Allegedly, in my opinion, but hey, I've been told there were more than one relievers. There was at least one reliever and possibly 2 on the site that day. Come on, Chris. Let's move on.
So if these guys were operating cranes, right? If these guys were up in cranes, how would this guy know anything that was going on the back end of things? If this other coworker was in a crane on the job site, how would he know what's going on with Chris if Chris is up in a crane? How would he know how Chris was acting or behaving? How would he know Chris's movements if he's up in a crane doing his job or even on the ground doing his job? Oh, he wouldn't. That's right.
Arrived 6:30 a.m. Chris wants to make you believe 5:15. Why would he need to be at the jobs? Let's think about this for a second. Why would a tower crane operator, when no daylight is up, it is dark, why would he need to be on the job site at 5:15? I think you've seen some other creators go out there and see that others may show up, inside workers, drywall workers, many different types of construction people at 5:15. What I was told is there would be no reason to be there before 6.
By the way, I apologize to my chat for my little pop off at Penny, but I don't apologize one bit to Penny because what does me being in Arizona have a fuck thing to do? Was that some sort of intimidation tactic? Don't act like an idiot in my chat, and you're welcome here. You can have your opinions, but don't be a Penny, and you're good to say. Penny and Peggy's, we have a good peg over here. But yeah, no. But I apologize to you guys for my little rant there. I'm just sick of these people, beyond sick. There is a missing child. His name is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And all of this is so dangerous, ignorant, disgusting. And these are grown-ass adults doing this. The FBI, the TBI, Sumner County, and the Secret Service have all been involved heavily in this case since the start. The parents' stories have been vetted. If he was not where he claimed to be, and there was a problem with his alibi, there would be a change in the direction of this case. Right now, it is not even a criminal investigation. It is an open investigation into the disappearance. The FBI has offered up to a $50,000 reward for information on the whereabouts of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers or information in the disappearance. But we don't even have any indication of where Sebastian is. And this is beyond ignorant.
6:30 a.m. And then you're going to start in your crane around 7. 6:30 is when he's reporting his stepson missing. 4.5 hours later, he's relieved. Why tell us 5:15? Come on, Chris. Focus off. OFF. Unlike other days. I told you, I'm going to give Chris credit. I will give people credit whenever I can. I'd like to give Chris a lot of credit. Chris, you're listening to this. Talk to me. Email me. silversonthescene@yahoo.com. 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 You are making yourself unlikable. You are making yourself untrustworthy, shady, not to be trusted. Words and actions. Words and actions make you like that. Your focus was off, unlike other days. You ever watch Columbo? Columbo will notice when someone's focus is off. Law enforcement notices when someone's focus is off. Let's refer to other cases, high-profile cases. Just think about them.
And this is the way they do this. This is manipulation by comparing other cases. Let's just be factual here for another moment. your focus would be off with the missing child. Anybody that gets a call that their child is missing, I don't give a shit if he's the step parent or not. And Chris isn't making himself unlikable. Chris is reacting like a stressed parent with a missing child that the internet has deemed guilty of something without even having any facts. Has harassed his family, kept his family under surveillance. You don't have to like this guy. You don't have to agree with this guy's parenting styles. They're parents of a missing child. But you put yourself in those shoes of having a missing child and think of how you would act. Chris was the one that just recently came out and said all of the bullshit and the finger pointing, including at Seth, needed to stop. They just want their son found. That's been Chris saying that. The only person that's unlikable in this whole situation is you, Sniffers.
You'll hear on the media, you'll hear about law officials going and saying, hey, Jim, how was Bill the day his son went missing? Was he normal? Was he upset about his son? Did he want to find his son? Was that why he was off? Or was he just normal, like a normal day? Behavior and focus. This day, a guy who's very sharp, he has to be sharp to do this job. But on this day, his focus was off, unlike other days. And we're going to end it with this and we'll cover them all. This is the kicker, ladies and gentlemen. So let's just say I get relieved from my job, okay? Whoever it is that comes over and says, hey, man, we're going to have to pull you off. You're just not focused. Then you would think, okay, so let's take Chris's words. I was relieved when they got a reliever. That's why I had to work till 11, okay? So you would think he's reported Sebastian missing. He gets off the phone at 6:30, turns to his supervisor if he's on the site there or on his way to site. When he gets to work, hey, man, my stepson's missing. I need to get out of here as soon as I can. Now, I would leave right then. Hell, I would call him. I wouldn't even be on the job site. Soon, I would be headed towards Hendersonville while I'm on the phone with Katie and the law enforcement and the sheriff or whoever they called, right? And I'm on my way. I would have probably been there 3-hour drive. We know this. I've done it 5 or 6 times, 3-hour drive. I'd have been there at 9:30. I don't think Chris, out of his own words, got there to 1:30, 2 p.m. He was working. So when they come to relieve him, and you would think he'd go, I'm so sorry. I know I'm off. I probably shouldn't have been working. My stepson has disappeared. We don't know where he is. He didn't, though. He didn't report Sebastian missing to his work. What? So let's think about this. Hang the phone up with Katie. Law enforcement's descending on her house. Boom, big searches. Everybody's out looking for Sebastian. Chris Proudfoot, allegedly, in my opinion, based on what I was told, gets off the phone and goes to work. And 4.5 hours later is still working. I'm just visualizing moving those levers and picking up that steel and that iron or whatever and lifting it up to where they can put it. He's working, and his stepson is missing.
So maybe he was on the job before the call was even made. There are so many things we don't know. Maybe he was waiting to see if Sebastian would be found in the very, half hour after they noticed that he was missing. Maybe he was waiting and they were hoping that he was just going to be found around the corner in a closet, something right in the neighborhood. Maybe they were trying not to jump the gun and overreact and hoping that he would be around the corner somewhere. Maybe they were waiting until law enforcement assessed the scene to determine if he should come home. Seth was already there. Seth remembers Chris pulling into the neighborhood with his flashers on.
His wife is all sorts about herself. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Are you 4.5 hours later? Now, here's the question I have. He was relieved, not his doing. He didn't say, raise my hand, stepson's missing, get someone over here for me. He was working. The first question I have, what would have happened had he not been relieved? Would he have worked the full shift? I'm assuming 7 to 3. Maybe they go 7-7. I don't know. 7-4. Would he have worked the whole shift?
And the way these people twist and turn this story is unfucking real. Unreal. But I'm going to interrupt Silvers for a moment because I want to take you here for a quick second to remind you of Seth's own words about this situation. This is from Bullhorn Betty's channel. Let me put her full screen. We'll get back to Silvers in a minute, but I want to interrupt it right quick and remind you of what even Seth said.
That would have been a better word. Confused on why he's gone. Mad and angry now. With what I know, yeah. Mad and angry fits now. But then again, what I know now is everything that Chris knew beforehand.
Did you get immediately concerned when you got that call that there was something seriously wrong? Did you just know immediately?
I left there and I was doing well above the speed limit trying to get to Katie's house to find out what's going on.
Looking back on that call you had with Chris, does anything now seem out of the ordinary or odd?
The lack of emotion, maybe.
Interesting. When you got there, what did Katie personally tell you happened? Did you guys talk when you got to the house?
When I got there, I assessed the situation before I walked in. There was law enforcement was everywhere, in and out the door, so on and so forth. By the time I got there, the dog people were there and the drone people were there. I was the last one to this stupid fucked up party.
What was it like when you arrived at the home outside of the craziness from law enforcement? You know, what was the behavior of the people, Katie and other people that were there?
When I walked in, Katie said something to me and then shoved her phone in my face. There was a picture of Sebastian, the one that you see him with his optimism shirt on. That kind of confused me on why she's shoving a picture of Sebastian in my face. I know what my son looks like.
Do you know why she did that?
Nope. Still don't know why. I just started looking to see what I could see. Obviously, my son's not there.
How long were you there?
Turned around and I was there for a little bit, just enough to talk, to find out what was going on, to find out if they had any evidence or anything, to hear the evidence that was being said. And then I jumped in my truck and started looking for my son.
Immediately?
Within 30 or 45 minutes. I don't like a lot of people around me to begin with. And obviously my son's not there. And I'm under the assumption that he just walked out. So I jumped in my truck and started looking. Driving up and down the roads, screaming for my son.
Did you stay with Chris and Katie there for several nights?
I didn't stay the night, if that's what you're asking. Hell no.
Oh, okay, so you guys didn't sleep. Well, because I had heard rumors that you and your family stayed there, and I was going to ask you about some.
No, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, they told us not to search. All right, they told us not to be getting out and walking through the forest and shit like that, looking for Sebastian. That they didn't want one of us to go missing while we're looking for our son. Understand that? That's why I did my searching out of the vehicle. Driving around, hollering for my son, going up and down every road, looking as far as I can see, screaming for his name. Almost went and bought a bullhorn.
I got a couple around here. I can send you one. You might have to buy batteries. You know, I wear them out, but I got an extra.
I think it's a little too late. I don't think he's, in the area.
What was Katie's demeanor like that morning when you got there?
There's a reason. You'll understand why I'm going back to this in a few.
It's really kind of hard to explain. But
was she acting normal?
Her phone in my face, had a picture going, see, we're at BJ's yesterday and everything was fine. And I'm like, trying to prove something to me. That's not how you.
Statement.
It's not how you prove something to me. On top of that, that picture wasn't taken BJ's. It was taken at Costco, and it's like you're already throwing false information in my face.
Do you think they actually went to BJ's or no?
I have no idea.
Gotcha. I was just asking. It wasn't on my list, but you were saying that, and that does sound like a really odd statement, convincing language, so to speak.
Doesn't work on me.
Yeah.
I get plenty of liars at work. You know.
Oh, I bet you're almost like a human lie detector.
Well, I look at them and I call inmates on their bullshit. You know, It's like, don't try to bullshit me. It's not going to get you anywhere. You know, be as honest as you can with me. I'll be as honest as I can with you. You know, it's a respect factor. Mutual respect.
Diving in. Do you think she was bullshitting you?
Yeah.
That morning. What?
Yeah. That's why she doesn't like my opinion. That's why when I told Chris I needed to speak to Katie, well, you can't do that unless I'm there. I don't care. You can be there too, buddy.
Wow.
So-
What was she wearing?
I don't remember. She was dressed. I mean,
She was
obviously,
dressed?
there was people in the house. So
Right. But I just didn't know if she was in her pajamas or she was dressed.
So Betty, if the sale is that you were told not to look and you were told to stay home in case your child came home, then we could buy that if they actually stayed home, correct?
Right. What was the weather like there? Was it raining or snowing that day? Was it cold? Like, can you?
first day was pretty decent. I mean, I think that low first night was
I'm going to speed them up a little bit more because there's another part that I want to hear. I've got a few different areas that we got to get to.
50. The next night it got colder, and then I think on the third night, on Wednesday, I think it was 20 degrees, and then we had rain for the next 3 or 4 days, and pretty crappy fucking weather.
But it wasn't crappy weather the day he disappeared.
No.
Did the neighbor speak to you?
Briefly, one of the neighbors spoke to me, lovely lady that lives next door. She introduced herself. I'm horrible with names, but most of the time the people that came over, I was just sitting in a chair. People kind of looked at me, and then they would have their conversations with Chris and Katie and Kathy and whoever else was there. There was some introductions, but I'm not one of those people you just introduce. I was watching their behavior.
Did the neighbors say anything odd? Was their behavior odd, or were they just appeared to be concerned?
Some of them appeared to be concerned. Some of them brought their video footage over for Chris to look at. So Chris got to see all the video footage. I didn't get to see shit.
So Chris got to see all the video footage. Seth didn't get to see shit.
That's quite.
Still in the dark.
And that's quite interesting. Was Chris friendly?
After Chris lost his school, I couldn't stay there after Wednesday.
Lost his school? How? I never heard this.
The GoFundMe my sister set up to help me pay my
On Wednesday, Chris didn't lose his cool on Seth until Wednesday.
bills while I look for my son.
What was that?
The
Why did you want
GoFundMe.
you to stop? Why did you threaten you?
Hold on. It was a GoFundMe that my sister set up for me to pay my bills while I look for my son. It wasn't set up as a reward. It wasn't set up as anything else. People want to know what happened to it. It was donated. I used it to pay my bills. I used it to put gas in my truck so I could drive an hour and a half down there, an hour and a half back. People,
You don't have to convince me because I know how expensive.
no, it's just a little annoying. If the GoFundMe had been put up for a reward, yes, it would have been used as a reward. And I still have some of it. And I still won't touch a portion of it because I'm willing to put it into the reward. But it has to be set up properly, and law enforcement has to literally approve of it.
Gotcha.
You know, just because people want something done doesn't mean it happens. I'd like my son to be found, and I'm looking for him.
When you were there and you saw Chris and Katie, did you see any injuries on their persons?
I was not paying attention to them.
You say you didn't see any scratches on Chris's arms?
I've seen pictures of the scratches and stuff afterwards.
Did that concern you at all?
Nothing I can do about it now.
Did you find any behaviors when Chris and Katie?
So he didn't notice any scratches on his arms, but he was watching behaviors. Okay, take that into account because they've tried to run with that theory too about the scratches on Chris's arms 8 days later.
got together as and the reason why they're the last person to see your son, I'm not trying to, I don't want to pitch in a.
Their conversations are inappropriate for what's going on.
How do you mean?
Talking about the next vacation, the jewelry that, I'm going to buy for today. So that is Kathy wants jewelry and wants Christopher to buy it for her. I mean, the conversations were enough to make me sick, so I left to go try to find my son.
They were having these conversations in the house. Kathy was these people. What was your opinion of Kathy?
My opinion of her?
Yeah.
Really going to piss off Chris if I sit there and tell you my opinion of her.
Have you met her before?
Yes, she was actually supposed to be helping me find a place to live. She's a realtor. Has plenty of access to plenty of places.
She knows law enforcement. They have connections. Do you know if Chris has family that works for Sumner County Sheriff?
I've heard that he does.
Just a reminder too, when body camera footage of this whole incident at the house is ever shown and released down the road, I want you to remember that he's claiming that Kathy was there before he got there.
And you know that his mom has a friend by the name of Ginger, which is, I guess, a Henderson chief or some kind of lieutenant or something, Henderson Police Department.
I have no idea. I just know Chris grew up in this area. They've been here for a long time. And unfortunately, I'm classified as an outsider. But my son lived there. We went missing in Sumner County. People may not like me as an outsider. He's my son. People are going to have to get over certain things because I'm not going to be over my son just poof, as Chris says, or Houdini himself out.
What was Kathy's demeanor like that morning? Did anybody in the house, when you saw them, appear nervous or out of place or odd, or just maybe they weren't doing anything, but there was just something in you that made you feel out of place or made you feel odd?
Katie seemed to be the only one that was upset, grieving, and maybe would be the word.
What was she doing? How was she acting? What emotions was she displaying?
Just sitting on the couch crying.
Have you seen
After the
her?
initial me coming in and are shoving our phone in my face and all that sort of stuff, then, you know.
Do you feel her behavior was genuine?
I'm not going to answer that.
Okay, fair enough. Were you there when Chris approached the law enforcement to get the camper, to get permission to go get the camper?
I was not.
But you heard about it.
Oh, I heard about it.
Okay.
What day did he leave the very next day, or was it a day or two after?
I do not know.
Okay.
I mean,
So we know it wasn't within the first 3 days because Seth was there the first 3 days. He would go home at night. But we know that it wasn't until after a week later that they returned to get the camper.
it wasn't Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday while I was there.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. And what did Ellie say at the time you left the Proudfoot home about the status of the case at that time?
When he left?
No,
Oh,
when
I left.
when he probably went to go get the camper and you probably went on your way. Did law enforcement give you an update? That was really early on in the case, obviously much different than where we are
After
now.
Wednesday, my parents showed up from Texas, and they were staying over in Goodlettsville at the RV park.
Gotcha.
I told them where I was at,
So
and they
Seth was even being kept in the loop. He knew about them going to get the RV.
knew where I was at. And except for me calling them to find out what was going on, really didn't have much communication with them. I was kicked out of the command center.
What was that about?
I shouldn't be here looking at the computers. I was
You
looking
were
at
crying
them,
too.
you know, and my son's missing. I want to see where you're searching. Why? So I can go search. I gotta stay in my vehicle. I can't get out and go running around. But I can sure drive around.
Okay, we're going to go back over here now. You'll understand all of this, hopefully, in a little bit. Let's go back to Silvers. You heard Seth confirm that he knew about them going to get the RV. Law enforcement knew when they returned to get the RV. He's talking about their demeanor when he arrived. Think of all those things. I've got more.
And then told us that there was no one there to relieve him. Not only did he not report him missing, when I was told that he was relieved, I asked the question this. I said this. So he probably said, you know, like, stepson's missing. Oh, no. We had no clue his stepson was missing. I said, what? You mean to tell me this guy's working 4.5 hours and he hasn't told anybody? No.
Why would he tell everybody on the job site? If this is just another contractor on the job site, they would have no need to know. He would have told management, gotten clearance from management, and went on his business.
No, we didn't learn this till after he was gone. We didn't learn this till after he was gone. We didn't learn this until after he was gone from the job site. So, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? I think we've been asking this question since day one, day two, September 26th, February 26th, February 27th. And now the questions just flowing even more as we're learning this information. So let's recap. Let's recap like this. Let's follow a timeline. Katie calls Chris, can't find him. Okay. These are what they're telling us. Can't find him. Let's call the sheriff's department. Why, Katie? Why, Chris, you didn't call 911? No.
Because it would have routed them to the Memphis dispatch center. All of you with all these stupid theories can't even get the basics. If Chris would have called 911 from Memphis on the job site, it would have routed him to the Memphis dispatch center. He bypassed that by calling directly to Sumner County because Hendersonville, where they live in Hendersonville, is outside city limits. So they called directly to Sumner County because Katie was obviously having a breakdown. So Chris called, they three-wayed in. There you go. Not that big of a deal. They avoided a step. Okay, carry on.
911. 911. Beep, beep, beep. 3 numbers. Boom. I'm going to ask a question. Was it because 911 is recorded? Allegedly, in my opinion, that's why you didn't call 911. So they report him missing. Kristen gets off the phone with Katie and not get in his truck and head east to be by her side to look for his stepson. He started working. Tells us had no one to relieve him. Now we know there was at least one there to relieve him, if not 2. And that he didn't stop working at 11 on his own. He was relieved. He was pulled off the job because focus was off, unlike other days. His behavior was off. He's a sharp guy. Let's go back. I keep going back to this. He has to be a sharp guy to operate these. But on this day, the day this boy went missing, his stepson, focus was off. What else? Do not trust him. These are people working with him. Who knows you better than really two people? Your spouse or your coworker, right? There's those jokes. She's my wife work. He's my wife husband, right?
Of course, somebody's going to be upset if their son is missing.
We spend the most time with the people we work with and the people we live with. Roommates, family, spouse, coworkers. Not to be trusted. And no, he could not have that RV. Nobody could on that job site. So what do we say with all
Where did this whole having the RV on the job site come from?
this? We scratch our heads and we go, wow. So for me, when I approached to ask, did Christopher Proudfoot stay at this RV? I was looking at a minute or less. Yes, no, take the flyer. Thank you. This turned into about 15 to 20 minutes. Now I did leave my phone number, and I don't expect a call. I don't, I'm not looking for any really more information, because let me get to this part. And that's this. And I'm going to bring him center here. Ladies and gentlemen, I've told you, I'm compelled to find Sebastian Rogers. I'm compelled to do whatever I can when I'm not working my full-time job, providing for my family to pay my bills. When I have time, I'm looking for this teenager, this boy who should not be missing. Okay. And I've told Silvers too how passionate I am about it, because not only should he not be missing, but in my opinion, other than his biological dad, his mother and stepdad did not protect him. And that's just wrong.
We have no indication that that's the truth.
We need to find him and get justice for him. So after I spent these 15, 20 minutes, Silvers 2 was in the car, and I turned to come back to the car. And ladies and gentlemen, I was hit with a wave of emotion, a wave of emotion. At first, I didn't understand it. I get in the car. Silvers 2 could see it immediately. What's wrong? What happened? What did he say? What did they say? All these things. And I'm like, I didn't expect that. And I got to take a moment.
All right. I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to take you somewhere else right quick. Because when I don't fuck around, I don't fuck around. I'm going to take you back to Terry Lynn. Seth Rogers on Terry Lynn's on March 18th, 2024. I want you to remember what Chris says on this. There's a couple timestamps we're going to look at here. We'll go back to Silvers in a minute. Let me make sure you guys got the right one. Sorry, I give you guys whiplash with all this stuff, but I want you to get a good reminder of what has actually been said. Okay.
Some odd $1,000 home. Not everybody. Do you have to go through him, Chris, or could you also communicate with Sebastian's mom? Like, was he the controlling type? Well,
Now, the audio on this is shit, but you can hear what you need to hear.
I communicated with Chris more than I communicated with Katie's mom, with Katie, basically because I could get in contact more with Chris than I could with Katie. Like, Chris is the one that called me and sent me the text message telling me my son was missing, not his mother.
doesn't make any sense. At all. Yeah, early February. I don't know. Yeah, I did
called
think that.
phone to communicate with him. When I communicated with Chris about Sebastian, it was to find out about school and things like that. But I would call and speak to Sebastian on his phone.
Why the stepdad says he hasn't seen him since early February.
So I want to remind you right off the bat right there that this whole situation of Seth communicating with Chris and not Katie was in existence before Sebastian went missing. Chris and Seth communicated about Sebastian. So it wasn't like Sebastian went missing and Katie cut off contact, according to what we've heard out of their own mouths. Carry on.
Good
Probably
question.
because he was working on that St. Jude project in Memphis. From my understanding, he has a trailer and he normally takes it down there and just stays down there because it's cheaper. what it's like for 15 minutes every day to get to work and fight with traffic. So I wouldn't want to drive 3.5 hours every day to get to drive there. I mean, sometimes I feel I don't get enough sleep as it is.
Yeah, see, she does not talk to me.
If I'm falling behind, let me know.
No, you're good. Is Chris a control freak? Let's see.
So Seth confirms that Chris was working in Memphis and had not been home. And he takes his RV because he doesn't want to drive every day. And Seth says he wouldn't either. Okay, we've got more.
You mean to answer that? From my perspective, I will. In my opinion, he seems to take over everything, and that's what it looks like to me. He's the one speaking in an interview. If I were the mother, I'm screaming, "Bring my baby back!" That's me. I'm going to be screaming.
I agree, Jennifer. Unfortunately, protocol is protocol.
Agree on that too. Yep, he is his father. And he should have all access. Let's see.
All right, I'm going to take you ahead again. Oh, these people make my ass itch. All right, we're at about the 158-minute mark.
No place like home, that's for sure.
Toto said,
TQ, there's nothing new. There's nothing of substance that's new besides their new narratives that they're pushing. All of this is regurgitated information, every bit of it, that they're just concocting new theories. That's all. That's it. This is just using their own words to show that even Seth, out of his own mouth, confirmed where Chris was numerous times, not just once, not just twice, numerous times. Him and Chris searched together. He was angry that law enforcement took Chris to search with law enforcement and not him. We've all heard this. But sometimes you just got to replay it for the people in the back that believe this bullshit that they're now concocting like Silvers.
that he took my slippers.
Continued prayers. Let's see. Agree.
Oh, Lady McGillicuddy, I wear Coke bottle lenses. Thank God, it's technology. They don't weigh that much.
Murfreesboro.
I would say that. Well, he puts on his glasses every time he gets up out of bed.
Good night, Philly girl. Will you guys please go hit that thumbs up button for me?
What's the best way we can support you, sir?
We need to get this out there and shut this shit down.
Get flyers out to find this one.
Okay. We're on that. Okay, let's see. I'll just be honest. I'm so pissed over this precious boy situation. I can't even keep a train of thought most of the time. Justice for Sebastian. I agree on that. Seth, did you say Chris didn't come back from Memphis until law enforcement started asking questions?
Yes.
The dog barked when the stepdad did an interview. Yes, it did do that. I heard that myself. Yet no.
Seth knew that Chris did not come back to the house until law enforcement started questioning and needing more information.
Dog was barking that night has me concerned, which I've mentioned this. I pray for a miracle and ask for Sebastian Rogers to be returned to his dad. Amen. Yes, I've got that on my community wall.
Okay, that's all I need to torture you with on that one for now. Going back over here to Silvers. Let's let him carry on. Actually, let me remind you of... Nah, I'll save that for a minute. I'll pull that in a minute. I got another one. To show you, but let's go back to this.
And then I said this. They've hurt this boy. They've hurt this boy. And that's why I'm emotional. Ladies and gentlemen, based on what I was told, based on what I just shared with you, based on the behavior of his stepfather, his stepdad, Chris Proudfoot, allegedly, in my opinion, my thoughts of what I've always believed grew much stronger, so strong at that moment that it really hit me emotionally a wave. And after I had my few minutes of just
like you got so emotional when the random person emailed you and said that somebody in Walmart that didn't exist, none of this actually happened in Walmart, stomped their foot and yelled, "Proudfoot." Yeah, okay.
They've hurt this boy. And I don't believe he's with us anymore because of it. Then I got angry. And
again, I'm going to remind you how dangerous that is. So the FBI comes out, offers a up to $50,000 reward for Sebastian for any information on the whereabouts of Sebastian. We have cases like Connor Jack Oswald, who was found years later, had police interaction, walked out of his home. We have cases like Elizabeth Smart, who was taken out of her home. Her parents were tormented. We have cases like Alicia Navarro, where she was obviously groomed out of her home. 4 years later, shows up at a police department in Havre, Montana. People need to keep looking. We don't know what happened at all. But what we do know from law enforcement is that their stories have been vetted and they've been cooperative. All of them. Seth has confirmed that Chris was in Memphis. And all they're doing is painting narratives about things that they intentionally are trying to manipulate you over, like lights, cameras. I'm going to play Dear Terms of Service video tonight too.
I was fueled to go dive into those woods, to go walk that water, to go wherever I need to go to find this boy. I've always been motivated to do it, compelled to do it, and act on it. I found out this information before I put the boots on last Friday. And I took off for 7 different locations between Memphis, South Haven, Horn Lake, Hendersonville, and 2 areas around Hendersonville. So if you've had any reasons or not reasons to dive in and help as someone is deemed Sebastian's army, I hope that these right here, these things we just discussed, I hope these things make you change your mind or make you do more than you're already doing. Because, as I say right here, what I was told, and I'll state again, allegedly, in my opinion, there are 2 people heavily involved with the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. Christopher Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot. If one of you did...
And again, this is inciting more bullshit directly against what law enforcement has led us to believe.
Then I need the other one to come forward. How are you living with this knowledge? And if neither one of you did it, show us proof you didn't. Because
you don't deserve a fucking thing. They don't owe any of us a single thing. They are working with law enforcement. That is who is going to find Sebastian, not this clown. But we're not done.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, like I know, the lack of
TQ, as it should be,
of attention they're giving their son, their stepson, since he has gone missing, is unreal. In my opinion, it's completely unreal. And what I was told that day verified all that. Sebastian himself, in my opinion, with how I search and how I reach out to communicate to him in my way, has confirmed he's no longer with us. And I hope, I'm going to say this, I hope I'm wrong and he is with us, and I hope I'm wrong, they didn't hurt him. But in my opinion, my belief,
I agree with you. The Sebastian's army thing is nothing but pure manipulation. It's intended to divide. It's intended to paint narratives. If you're not on their side and don't buy into all this bullshit, then you don't care about Sebastian. You don't want Sebastian found. These guys have made such a clown show out of this missing child's life. They have stripped him of every piece of dignity that he has, and they are encouraging people to stop looking for him by painting these narratives that he's no longer with us. We don't know if he is or not.
With what I've researched and what I've looked into, he's not with us anymore. And yes, something was done to him. So I don't want to keep on. I could keep on going with that, keep on going with that, keep on going with that, as long as you would sit and listen to me, keep on going with that. But the thing is this, what can we do? So you're sitting there and you're saying to yourself, what can I do? This has motivated me even more to do. We keep his awareness alive. We put a flyer out. We share a flyer electronically through social media, or email a friend, or email a restaurant, or walk it into a restaurant. As Silvers too and I travel this week with the flyers, we'd be sitting in a restaurant, we'd pull out a flyer and say, hey, do you mind putting this up? At least take it from me. You know, I told you that Easy Days had it posted up from me emailing it to them. But we have to keep this awareness alive. That's the best thing you can do. And then we'll go looking and searching for him. We will come together as a community, working as one, tips and leads and thoughts and beliefs and theories of where he may be. And
tips should solely be going to 1-800-TBI-FIND or Sumner County or the FBI. That's it. That's all.
Then we'll find him. And ladies and gentlemen, when we find him, we will get justice for him. Because this teenager, look at him. Look at these smiles. I just saw a video the other day, and it was several months ago, maybe back when he actually went missing 7 months ago. But a school teacher talking about how positive he is. Look, I say nothing but positive. Look at this kid. Look at this kid. Why would someone do anything to this kid? Why would you treat or mistreat this kid in any way? So let's keep his awareness alive. Let's find him.
Let's talk about mistreatment of Sebastian. So we've heard that Seth said that Chris was in Memphis, that he took his RV. He was in Memphis working. Okay. We know that Seth had Sebastian the weekend before he went missing. We know, according to Betty and her narratives that she was pushing, that he had bruising around his neck, that she's pointed out in photo after photo, that she tried to shove that narrative down everybody's throats, that he had all this bruising around his neck. Chris wasn't in the area, according to even what Seth has said. So where did that bruising come from around Sebastian's neck? And why did Betty all of a sudden shut the fuck up about that bruising? They've dangled these CPS reports, but nobody's has any knowledge of what those CPS reports contain.
And let's bring him home and get justice. And I'm not going to play it again, but the reason I played the video, if you haven't seen it now, is Sebastian, we will not forget you. That's a promise. We're going to keep digging, and we're going to keep digging deeper and deeper to find you, to find what happened to you, and to get justice for you. Others have forgotten you on day one. Hands clean.
They sure as hell didn't forget him on day one, because guess who was the one that came out and asked to bring awareness to Sebastian and get his name out there? Chris and Katie. Chris and Katie were the first ones to come to social media and ask for help. Chris and Katie were the first ones to do interviews. Where was Seth? So you're trying to paint this narrative that Chris and Katie forgot about him from day one. But meanwhile, we know, factually speaking, they were the ones to come out and ask for awareness of their missing child. You can't change the facts of what happened. And Seth was invited to those interviews or interview. I know one for sure.
Clean. Let's move on with our lives. We won't. We are Sebastian's army, and we're here for you.
No, in my opinion, you're a fucking creep.
So I'll just throw this back up one more time. Take a look at it. Not at the job site. You can't park there. Not at that Memphis park. Shady, not to be trusted. Relieved at 11 a.m. Arrived at 6:30. Focus off like unlike other days. And ladies and gentlemen, he did not report his stepson missing.
But he did report his stepson missing to authorities and his management, obviously, in order to get relieved, you dumb fuck.
Wow is the only thing there you can say. I guess.
Of course he's going to be off. Of course somebody's going to be emotional and distracted if their child is missing, you buffoon.
The last part I can say is I did ask this. Do you think he had something to do with this? And just as I feel, the answer was yes.
And just as we feel, this is another magical, mysterious source that came out 7 months later. Didn't care to come out anytime before. No coworkers have talked this far, besides confirming stories to PIs Oh, wait, I'll take you there too.
Okay, have a great weekend. Friday's over. The week's done. It's time to push into the weekend.
Time to amp up more misinformation and regurgitate more bullshit for a distraction. Why? What are you distracting from, Silvers?
Love Saturdays and going through that weekend with your family, with your friends. Have a ton of fun. Be safe in doing so and be at peace while you're doing that. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the support.
All right, let's go here. So this is from Court TV with Vinnie Politan. Let me tell you the date on this one. This is from August 18th. I've got a couple parts I want to play for you out of this one. And the reason I'm doing this, again, I don't think Seth has anything to do with the disappearance. But what they're trying to spin you goes directly against what Seth himself has said about the day of the disappearance, about movements around the disappearance. It goes directly against what people like Vinnie Politan have said. And I'm going to show you that. I don't have to just talk about it. I can show you.
Katie woke up. She went to his room to get him ready for school, but Sebastian was gone. She searched the house, and he was nowhere to be found. Sebastian's stepdad, Chris Proudfoot, was not home, and Sebastian's father, Seth Rogers, was at work about 45 minutes away.
Okay, shocker. Chris wasn't there. Seth wasn't there. No, we haven't heard all this before, have we? We sure have. Well, let's go further.
She'd be the last person to have seen it.
What do you think about that thud noise that she described, the rustling that was going on? I thought about it. I've looked at the house. His room is on the first floor, right? So his window is accessible from the outside.
It would be, I believe, but I know law enforcement went around the house and stated that none of the windows or screens had been tampered with. So as for the thud, I mean, I don't know what she would classify as a thud. If I heard something in his room I know I'd go check on him just because I want to make sure he's okay. I mean, he's got a medical condition that would definitely mean I need to go check on him just to make sure he's okay.
And have you spoken with his mom about that night at all? Have you had any sort of conversation, either just the two of you or with other people there?
Have not had a conversation with her just alone, and probably won't.
Why is that?
Because every time I want to speak to her, I'm going to have to speak to Chris. Chris wasn't there. I don't know why he needs to be involved in a conversation about what happened that night. And if he was on a phone call, then maybe he can tell us what the thud was.
How about the rest of the day leading up to the point that Sebastian got home? Who was the last person other than his mom to see him? And have you spoken with that person?
No, I guess the last person to see him besides mom would be, the waitress at at Texas Roadhouse.
And Tony, as we try to track and figure out who interacted with Sebastian, where he could have gone, how this could have happened. From your perspective, what are the lingering questions that you see?
Well, there you go again. Seth confirms once again that Chris wasn't there. And that was on national media. That was on, not national media, excuse me, on freaking Vinnie Politan Court TV. But still. Okay. I'm going to take you to another Silvers 2 days ago. Let me switch you tabs here. Okay, you guys got it. All right. But before I do that, I want to take you over here. Actually, I want to take you here. So, about the lights. This is from Dear Terms of Service. This is a short 2-minute clip. I want to play you right quick.
Today, we're going to discuss Mob Crew and his really dumb series of flashlight videos that he continues to post on here and on TikTok. I was going to leave this alone, however, I saw that he posted another flashlight video yesterday, and well, this just needs to stop already. Mob Crew is pulling a fast one on you all, and it's rather fucked up, in my opinion. Allow me to show you the fuck shit this guy's playing out here. You see, I like to do my own work instead of relying on others' work that's telling a story, a bullshit narrative, if you will. When I was playing around with the overlay that Mob Crew was using, I quickly realized what this con man is trying to sell you. Look here. Mob Crew introduces this mystery 4-door sedan, right? It's this mystery sedan that he continues to place in the road, and he continues to say that he just doesn't know who.
This is Dear Terms of Service. I will drop their channel link in the description. Give me 1 second. I'll do that right now. Dear Terms of Service. They are debunking Mob Crew's lights theory. Excellent channel. They have some great coverage. I got to know who they were through this case. I've highly enjoyed their coverage of, they have a lot of stuff. Here you go. There's their link in the comment section below.
Who this 4-door sedan belongs to. But wait, he does. Wait till you see this horse shit. All right, what I did here was use a Google image of the neighborhood that Mob Crew is focusing on from December 2021. I used this image so that it would look more similar to how things looked in February 2024. But this guy, what a piece of work. Anyway, this is where he introduces an image of a 4-door sedan. But watch what he does here. He's about to change that 4-door sedan you saw into another one that also he built into this overlay. This scary music he added is such an over-dramatic touch. Watch what happens here. Well, I'll be damned. Look how that car that Mob Crew built into this overlay and fits like a glove over the neighbor's car in their driveway. Let's watch that shit again, close-up style. Ain't that some shit? So kindly go tell this motherfucker that the mystery's solved and to run on somewhere else with his bullshit. Messing around in an active kids case. What a piece of shit, man.
And there's that. Pretty simple. Okay, now I'm going to take you, before we go over here, I'm going to take you to Web Sleuths. I'm going to start about the 11-minute mark in.
We haven't had any.
Now, just a reminder, this is from, let me go back down here. Hold on. This is from April 27th, 2024. This was Chloe, the PI, who was initially working with Seth's team. Okay?
Results,
Right.
So I understand his frustration. And I think that's really it, is he wants another jurisdiction to take over. I mean, above TBI and Sumner County. But yeah, they've been involved. I mean, Secret Service has been involved, and
Right.
yeah, I mean, a lot of other jurisdictions have been involved with the boots on the ground searching as well. So, but his goal is to have them take over.
Okay, that's good. Well, that's good. I don't blame him. Also, somebody just asked, did Katie have a boyfriend? And no, there's nothing like that has ever been stated. Okay.
I mean, it's been stated, but I've found no evidence of that. And it's honestly not something I'm focusing on.
Sure.
Because when I've seen it stated, it's who are you even? Like, who are you that's saying this,
Right, exactly. And that, again, it's.
Sorry, I started too far in. Give me a second. I got to go back a few more minutes. I forgot I need to do this. Okay, so. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go. I forgot I need to go back here. Okay, let's go back. I forget she says all this in the beginning. Sorry, I skipped one of my timestamps.
PM the night before.
chat who are not familiar, this is the weird thing. There's lots of cameras in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But they haven't, that we know of, nobody caught
I'm going to speed him up.
Sebastian leaving the house, right?
Correct. Yes. We had a meeting with Sumner County a couple weeks ago, and they're baffled.
So they had a meeting. The PI that was working for Seth's team had a meeting with Sumner County, and they are baffled. Okay, take this all into account. I want you to remember, she was working as a private investigator. She was pro Seth on Seth's team. But why would she lie about any of this? She has no need to.
I guess.
He's seen getting home, and then he's never seen
They
again.
didn't take out the garbage or do something.
Yeah, trash out.
So they saw him doing that, but they didn't see him leave
ever again. No.
Now let's talk about.
So she confirms that they saw him take the trash out. So all of that noise that's been cycling around too, that he never made it home. Well, the PI that was working for Seth says that he took the trash out
that night. When is, because I was confused when I talked to you about this earlier, so I really want to get this straightened out. When was the last time that Sebastian was seen by people other than family members?
It's my understanding it would have been the people at Texas Roadhouse,
which was Sunday.
Yes, Sunday.
See, I thought it was Saturday night that he was last seen.
No, Saturday he was at Costco, and we confirmed that with that receipt. And then Sunday was a day full of activities.
Right.
Yeah. So the last place he went before he went home was the Texas Roadhouse.
Okay, and so that's the last confirmed sighting that we have, where it was people, the people that weren't related,
right,
to Sebastian.
Right.
Okay, and again, everybody, he has just vanished. I'm just stunned because he's on camera apparently taking some garbage out, and there's cameras all over that neighborhood.
Yes.
But nobody has seen him leave.
No.
Now, if you have been following this case, you have seen Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot. Katie is Sebastian's mom, and Seth is Sebastian's father. Chris Proudfoot is his stepfather.
Right.
What can you tell us about his, I guess, alibi, you would call it? When was Chris seen last? He was out of town. Can you run that down for us, please?
I don't know when Chris was seen last, besides the source that tells us he was at the website at 5:15 a.m. on the 26th, which was about a little less than an hour before Sebastian was reported missing.
Besides the source that tells us he was at the job site at 5:15. This is a private investigator.
He was where? A little less than an hour before he was reported.
And at this time, she was in capacity of working for Seth's team.
Missing?
He was at his job site at St. Jude's in Memphis.
He's February 26th, okay.
He's a crane operator.
Right.
When he was last seen, though, before that was 8 p.m. His vehicle was seen after that at his RV, but him physically being seen was 8 p.m. the night before.
But the police have never indicated in any way, shape, or form that they thought Chris had driven home or there was anything nefarious, correct?
They haven't indicated much of anything. Honestly, they've said that the family's been cooperative, and that's
okay. Again, the PI says that the family has been cooperative. Law enforcement didn't really indicate much, but he was seen at 8 p.m. and then his truck was seen at his camper after that. Chapped, thank you for the gifted memberships. Thank you so much. This was a PI working for Seth's team at the time. They have a source that puts him on the job site at 5:15. They know where he was at 8 p.m. the night before. They saw his truck at his RV after that. Okay. Just making sure everybody is on. I mean, you guys have all seen this and know this, but if we can get it out there and disprove any of this shit, it's worth it.
That's it. They dodge questions about timelines and alibis and things like that.
You mean the police do?
Yes.
The police do. So you can't really be sure of anything. And Sherry Berry, what Chloe is going on is a vetted source that said that
a vetted source, not a random source 7 months later, a vetted source that the PI who met with Sumner County even, that said they saw Sebastian taking the trash out. Think of all these things. And at this time, again, I'm going to keep putting that in your heads. She was in capacity of being a part of Seth's team. The parents have been cooperative. Again, I personally don't believe any of the parents have anything to do with the actual disappearance. I could be wrong. But going off of facts and what law enforcement has said, it doesn't lead us to all of these crazy conspiracies that they've been concocting. Sorry.
Was at his job, and then his truck was seen at the RV on, was it Monday morning, did you say?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
And
he was seen
he was seen, okay.
at his job site at
On
5:15
Monday.
in the morning.
Okay. So, Sherry, nobody's cleared. The police have been very clear about that absolutely nobody has been cleared, basically. But they haven't said that anybody is a suspect either. And so that's, again, Chloe, licensed, very well-respected and experienced private investigator. You must get frustrated when the police won't.
Extremely frustrated.
Yeah, when the police won't release anything. So, but let's continue on here. I want to talk about Seth for a little bit.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about Chris and Katie and about their lie detectors and all of that was going on. It was very contentious there in the press with Seth Rogers, Sebastian's bio dad, and Chris Proudfoot, Sebastian's stepfather. Well, recently, Seth and Chris talked together,
right,
and they have decided to work together.
Right.
However, Seth came out and said that if people basically didn't like it, they could F off.
Right.
And that has been talked about quite a bit. I think I understand what Seth was doing. It was out of frustration and all of that, because there was a lot of drama between the Proudfoots and Chris and Katie and Seth, and there was lots of back and forth and accusations, and it was really ugly there in social media.
Yes.
And so I don't know. I'm assuming it was Seth that approached Chris and said, "Hey, let's stop this. Let's concentrate on Sebastian."
Well, actually, Chris came to the vigil before it started, and I think he approached Seth.
Oh, wait, did Chris approach Seth? Oh, wait, let's back that up a minute. Okay, so we've learned so far tonight that Silvers is full of bullshit. We've learned that Seth has said numerous times that Chris was in Memphis. We've learned that the PI that was working for Seth at that time confirmed that they had sources, vetted sources, that Chris was on the job site at 5:15 and that his truck was seen at the RV, so on and so forth. We've also heard Seth say a bunch of stuff about Chris and Katie on Bullhorn Betty's. I mean, you can make that out to be whatever you want to. What else have we learned? That all these narratives are not helpful at all. That all they're doing is actually hurting the search for Sebastian, because they're trying to imply that something nefarious happened when Sebastian could be out there right next to any single one of us. I don't know what you guys are doing in the chat, but I see a bunch of laughing faces over there. All right, let's listen to this.
Sebastian.
Well, actually, Chris came to the vigil before it started, and I think he approached Seth.
He did? Okay.
Not the most recent one that we did last night, but the one last weekend. I was not there yet, so I cannot speak on what was said. But yes, I know he made that statement.
Let's talk about that.
Rocked the boat quite a bit.
Yeah.
People were really mad.
A lot of people were really upset about it. Talk about what did he really mean?
My discussions with him, and just from knowing what kind of verbiage he uses anyways, my impression is that I know that everybody has not everybody, but a lot of people have a bad opinion of the Proudfoots because of social media. And I'm going to get some backlash about this, but this is about my son. So F anybody that's going to get in my way.
Right. Right.
So, I mean,
that's what I thought he was trying to say. But
he's never told me to F off. He's never told his other private investigator F off. He's never told his volunteers. He was not speaking to people that were helping him. I know a lot of people thought he was. That wasn't the case.
I always felt he was talking to the drama people in social media that are causing all these problems.
Right.
You know, and will come out with these ridiculous live streams saying crazy things. That's who I thought he was talking to. And the people that would give him grief for wanting to work with Chris Proudfoot.
Right. He got a lot of grief for it.
Yeah. He did. And so that I'm glad we cleared that up, because I understand.
Kathy, speaking of the psychics, tarot readers, and those bullshitters over there, we are up to 69 different channels that have done some of them have done upwards of 15, 20 live streams and different readings on this. 69 channels, different channels that have done readings of some sort, tarot cards, psychics, vision, spirit box, all that fuckery. They are absolutely exploiting this to the extreme. Absolutely. We're up to 69, and I can share that list if you guys want me to. I can run it down if you would like me to. And I'm sure I've missed a ton.
I understand where he's coming from. I do, because it's all about Sebastian. Who cares about this other drama crap?
Right.
You know, it means nothing. And I want to say something to everybody out there. Nobody is prepared to be thrown into the spotlight let alone during this day and age when all of a sudden you have social media and you have everybody and their dog commenting on you and what you're doing and what you say and how you look and everything and making accusations against you that are not true. It is so hard to absorb and to deal with all the while you're trying to look for a missing loved one. It is a horrific situation. And the fact that that Seth has held up as well as he has is amazing. So, and again, please tell him we will help him in any way possible.
Absolutely. Hi, Kitty.
And this is when Trisha was self-admittedly very biased against the Proudfoot family. She has came out and acknowledged that bias. Since then, Chloe no longer works for Seth's team either. You guys saw how he turned on her. All of those things. But this was in the very beginning. But I want you to remember, there's been no new updates. I mean, everybody knows that. But all these narratives that they're pushing, the lights, initially we were told by a fucking travesty of a channel, J for Justice, in my opinion, that the lights, that they were seeing somebody's ponytail even, to the extent of that. And by the way, if you claim you didn't say it, yeah, you did. Clue even confronted you about it on Elevated Truth's channel. But there's that.
So Mrs. Boodaboo, he's a good boy. Crystal Piesky wants to know, was the camper ever checked? I take it you're talking about Chris Proudfoot's camper or RV?
Yeah, do not have confirmation of that.
So we don't know. We have to assume that on things like that the police have checked everywhere. You know, you would assume that they have looked all through the camper. You would assume that they would have looked at Chris's parents' RV or camper. And but again,
I have no
You
confirmation.
have no idea. You have no idea. We just have to assume. We have to assume the police have done their job in that sense. But let's talk a little bit now. Chris has a petition up,
right?
And it is a petition to get the FBI to take over.
Seth has a petition up. Yeah.
Seth has petition up to get the FBI to take over Sebastian's case. How come?
Well, the FBI.
How many of you knew about the petition? Anybody? T. Marie, thank you guys. Chapton T, thank you for the gifted memberships. You guys are gonna get everybody right back on that. I feel so bad that happened. I'm so sorry. But thank you again for the gifted memberships. Y'all thank the lovely ladies for gifted memberships if you got one, please. Anybody in here wasn't around for the petition, even though the FBI was involved from the very start? Did anybody not know that they tried to do a petition? They tried to petition for the FBI to get involved. Thank you, Pika. That's all you guys. That's all because of you guys. And putting up with my bullshit. Thank you guys. Yeah, they tried to petition for the FBI to get involved. Meanwhile, the FBI was involved. Absolutely crazy. Just wild shit. It was so counterproductive.
Has been involved, but he wants them to take over. I think he's just frustrated, which I understand.
Right.
Because we haven't had any results, you know.
Right.
So I understand his frustration. And I think that's really it, is he wants another jurisdiction to take over. I mean, above TBI in Sumner County.
I'm not going to play his video, but Gray Hughes, and you can have your, I don't care, people. I know he's controversial to a lot of people. That's here nor there. Gray Hughes debunked the fucking lights shit right off jump. Debunked it based on information that he gained from actually having conversations. He debunked that shit right off jump. But they have used the dislike of Gray to ignore what he debunked. Gray was one of the first ones. That's why I'm hopeful that somebody else will come out and review the mob crew, because it's so frustrating that he is now, and whoever these people are running from chat to chat, I've seen you, claiming that mob crew is working hand in hand with law enforcement. Bullshit.
But yeah, they've been involved. I mean, Secret Service has been involved, and yeah, I mean, a lot of other jurisdictions have been involved with the boots on the ground searching as well. So, but his goal is to have them take over.
Okay, that's good. Well, that's good. I don't blame him. You know. Also, somebody just asked, did Katie have a boyfriend? And there's nothing like
that. Was another rumor. The rumor of Katie having an affair. That was a rumor that still gains steam in some channels too. There's been zero proof of that, and that was a JLR thing. They also tried to start the rumors that Chris was having affairs. Katie was having an affair with a neighbor. There was another lady at a waitress at a restaurant that said she was all this bullshit. None of them have panned out or had any substance to them whatsoever. Joe, yeah, they tried to petition for the FBI to take over the case. Meanwhile, the FBI was involved from jump. It was just another distraction. It's been nonstop distractions.
Like that has ever been stated. Okay.
I mean, it's been stated, but I've found no evidence of that.
Right.
It's honestly not something I'm focusing on.
Sure.
Because when I've seen it stated, it's who are you even? Like, who are you that's saying,
Right.
you know?
It's right. Exactly.
Chloe was serving, again, I'm going to continue to hone that in. Chloe was serving in capacity of being Seth's PI at this time, and she had no factual proof. There was nothing to push these narratives. They have tried every single thing. Sweetie Pilo, Donna Serafina, all of those people have tried horrendous things.
And that, again, you know, this is about Sebastian. Now, here is a question. And again, Sebastian, according to Katie, disappeared sometime in the middle of the night. But supposedly there is no Ring camera showing Sebastian leaving, although there is Ring camera because the neighbors all have Ring cameras.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. She did know. Chloe just said she did know that the FBI was involved. Let me back that up. I'll back that up and slow it down. Dexter, hold on. Dexter wants a treat. I'm going to back that up, slow it down so you guys can hear that in its full capacity, because she confirmed she did know that the FBI was involved. But here.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of other jurisdictions have been involved with the boots on the ground searching as well. So, but his goal is to have them take over.
Okay, that's good. Well, that's good. And I don't blame him, you know.
Sorry, I got to go back even further.
To take over, I think he's just frustrated.
Holy crap.
It is a petition to...
Oops, here we go. Okay. Let's go back to the 11. There you go.
RV or camper. And again,
I have no
You
confirmation.
have no idea. You have no idea. We just have to assume, the police have done their job in that sense. But let's talk a little bit now. Chris has a petition up.
Right.
And it is a petition to get the FBI to take over.
Seth has a petition up. Yeah.
Seth, yeah. Seth has petition up to get the FBI to take over Sebastian's case. How come?
Well, the FBI has been involved, but he wants them to take over. I think he's just frustrated, which I understand.
Right.
Because we haven't had any results, you know.
Right.
So I understand his frustration. And I think that's really it, is he wants another jurisdiction to take over. I mean, above TBI in Sumner County. But yeah, they've been involved. I mean, Secret Service has been involved, and yeah, I mean, a lot of other jurisdictions have been involved with the boots on the ground searching as well. So, but his goal is to have them take over.
Okay, that's good. Well, that's good. And I don't blame him, you know. Also, somebody just asked, did Kate...
The reason I'm going back and pulling these clips is because I want you to understand how ridiculous these new theories are, how debunked these theories were from the beginning. These theories that they're pushing in the stories that they're concocting in these magical sources that appear from aliens in the sky hold no weight compared to what we know from law enforcement or people that were actually involved in the stories that they themselves have told. If we're going to believe that Seth was at work based on what Seth said, which I have no reason to not, it's none of our business, I'm going to believe that Chris was at work. I'm going to believe law enforcement when they say that their stories have been vetted. Nick Barris has said that numerous times. Nobody's named as a suspect because they don't even know what has happened to Sebastian at this point in time. Besides Seth saying he's a suspect, law enforcement has not named any suspects. They don't know what has happened to Sebastian. And as far as the whole Betty fucking pushing that narrative recently too, about them saying it was a criminal investigation. Somebody in the office sent an email to Heather, the PI, that mentioned a criminal investigation, and they denied access to records. That was retracted. It was also said on the news, which was quickly retracted. All of that tracks. You can go find it yourself. Nick Barris on Facebook. There's posts about it, so on and so forth. That was all retracted and corrected, that it was an open investigation, not a criminal investigation. Nick Barris even talked to the district attorney about what it would take for this to move in the direction and get it to a criminal investigation. You can find that from April on his page.
Katie have a boyfriend, and no, there's nothing like that has ever been stated. Okay.
I mean, it's been stated, but
Duchess, thank you for the gifted memberships, y'all. Thank you so much. You guys are on fire tonight. Welcome to the cabana, you guys. Thank you guys so much.
I've found no evidence of that. And it's honestly not something I'm focusing on.
Sure.
Because when I've seen it stated, it's who are you even? Like, who are you that's saying?
Right. Do me a favor in the chat. I know this is redundancy for all of you, but put a number 1 if this helps you remember some of the things that were causing distractions, or put a number 2 if it's just a circle jerk. I mean, it is a circle jerk of misinformation. So I guess everybody should be putting a number 2. But put a number 1. You don't have to put anything if it doesn't help you. Put a number 1. Does this help you guys remember some of the bullshit that was concocted all along and some of the things that they said? I've gotten to the point where I don't even feel like debunking shit is even helpful anymore, because we're not getting anywhere. They amp up so much and people just talk shit. They're just talking shit. The red flags, their opinions, they're not even red flags. It's so ridiculous. Okay, so most of you, this is helpful for. Okay. Thank you.
Right, exactly. And that, again, this is about Sebastian. Now, here is a question. And again, Sebastian, according to Katie, disappeared sometime in the middle of the night.
Deflectionist, me too.
But supposedly there is no Ring camera showing Sebastian leaving, although there is Ring camera, because the neighbors all have Ring cameras.
Yeah, I've mapped it.
Yeah, tell us about that, and then we'll get to this question. You actually mapped the Ring cameras.
I mapped, the first 11 minutes of the dispatch, once dispatch started at 6:39 a.m. For Sebastian, there's 11 minutes that were released, and then had a great volunteer transcribe them for me, which took her a very long time because it was chaos. But through that transcription, you can see where they're saying this address has a camera. I spoke to them. They looked at it, all this. And so I made a map just from that dispatch. There's probably more cameras than that. It was only the first 11 minutes, and there's a lot of cameras.
But yet the police have said that there is no footage of Sebastian. Have they actually come out and said that to Seth?
I was actually watching one of the older press conferences. I think it was from the 29th of February. And
Revival, I agree, but it's the only way they can have content. The only way to continue on this content and painting the victimhood status and amping up the misinformation is to continue to do that. These people don't want to see that the possibility that Sebastian could have walked out on his own. They don't want to. They're not going to. But I guess for me, if it changes one person's mind and sets the facts straight in one person's mind and gets people to stop thinking that something nefarious happened and keep their eyes open for Sebastian, these are so dangerous at this point. It's so unproductive. I don't know. It just feels like we're spinning gears.
The look on their faces, first of all, they were just baffled. But they said they haven't had any confirmed sighting of him on camera or at all.
Crazy. That is just, it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, I apologize. That crunching you hear is my dog, Othram Tex Bug Nugget the first, chewing on his
her dogs and her frogs.
Yeah, the dogs and the dogs, it's all, and the cats, all part of it here. Stephanie Hodge says, so did Sebastian unlock the door and go out, or what? Was the door locked when she got up, or was it unlocked? Do you know what the situation is there?
Katie and Chris have both said at different times the door was locked. They also, in the initial dispatch, when they're calling out the details to officers, say the door is locked. I wasn't there.
Right. Well, but here's the thing.
And Katie's also said that Sebastian has a habit of immediately locking the door behind him. That was stated after everyone was really confused about that.
Angela Conley said, did he take the bin, I think you mean the trash, out before or after Chris left to go to work? I think Chris was already gone.
I absolutely agree with you, Daisy. They don't have to, though. It was the same thing that they did in the Marvon McRae story. They knew they were full of shit. They were blatantly lying to everybody's faces, and they would come out and lie to cover up their lies. They didn't believe anything that they were saying. They just had to sell it to their audience, and their audience, as the rate of misinformation, they just kept rolling with it and kept rolling with it. In that story, Letitia came out and confirmed that there was an agreement made that they could see Marvon, and Molly and Justin still tried to paint a narrative that there was court orders filed. They even showed court documents. There was nothing ever filed. Letitia's own words. Like, that is how extreme they go with these things. They don't care as long as it profits them.
Right? Or
Well, and
no?
Chris has said that he had not seen Sebastian since early February.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
So Chris was not.
He wasn't
not there.
He wasn't there. So,
Right.
Anyway, so what's so frustrating about this, Chloe, is how could he have disappeared if there's no footage of him? Here's the only thing it could be. That's either a mistake and there is footage of him, or he's still somewhere in the house. I mean, I don't know what else it could be.
Yeah, I mean, so I walked through the construction site, which people that have been following this case closely know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's right next door to their subdivision. Probably half of the subdivision next door has been built, but then there's still like a big construction site in the back. So I walked that last night, actually, after the vigil at like 9:30 p.m. And it's very dark in the construction site. You definitely need a flashlight. But once you get into that subdivision, it wasn't as dark.
And Yaka, it's so hard too. It's so hard because it's like the facts in this story are so limited. There's been no new information. And all of this is just concocted noise. Like the dog post today was just to amp up a reaction. They've been rage baiting people. So what are they going to do? Try to insinuate that Dawn Wells is connected to Katie. Why not? Because it doesn't harm them at all. It gets everybody going. It gives people content. They're rage baiting people, angering people. So then they can cry the victim again. Look what's happening to our team. Oh, they're saying this. Poor us. It's a constant content farm. And Dog isn't running his own fucking sites anyways. They are paying Dog to use his image. Dog's working on building a legacy of misinformation and fuckery, I guess. I don't know.
Dark as I expected it to be. I'm not saying that means a Ring camera would pick you up. But there's a lot of, I mean, a good majority of the houses have some sort of lighting on. And I'm assuming it's always like that. I don't know if they're turning them on now because of what's going on, but a lot of them have, the uplit stuff on the brick or floodlights or porch lights. It's a nice neighborhood. So I didn't need to use a flashlight to walk through the neighborhood to be able to see.
Think about what she is saying here. She didn't need to use a flashlight to walk through the neighborhood to see.
And I'm telling you, with Ring cameras, usually they have infrared, so you can see somebody. Mine do.
Yeah, but it does depend on like the sensitivity settings you have on your camera, how far it is from the street. Which, I mean, these are not huge lots. I would have to pull up a parcel map again, but I mean, I wouldn't think they're more than like a quarter acre, so they're not large.
Right.
So the houses are not super far from the road.
Yeah, that I don't know. I just, this doesn't make any sense to me.
I would love if a neighbor would say, who was that woman walking through my neighborhood last night? I would love if I would have gotten caught on camera. That would have been really interesting.
That would have been very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Okay. As somebody pointed out in chat.
Isn't it interesting to go back and listen to Chloe, though? She walked through the neighborhood. Neighbors didn't think that was suspicious. She says that there's ways to be missed by cameras. But here we are. There's a mysterious car. And now, you notice she didn't mention any jammers or that the neighbors had reported any problems with their cameras. Isn't that interesting? But now, all of a sudden, there was problems with cameras.
Let's just say hypothetically, and nobody's making any accusation here. Could Sebastian been put into Katie's car or truck without any sort of camera picking him up? Is that possible in the house?
Yes.
So she parks in the garage. Always. So
Babs, I agree with you so much. He does deserve better. He absolutely deserves better. And all the parents deserve better too. I will never understand why Seth is aligned with himself with the people he has. That will be something that confuses me forever, guaranteed. I mean, I get there's some benefit in it for him, but it just, all of this is so unnecessary. Sebastian deserves better. Sebastian's dignity has been shredded because of folks on the internet.
Oh, but I mean, she'd probably have to drive down the street with her headlights off, I would think.
Because they would have said her car left, but her car did leave at some point, I would assume, you know.
I mean, we know she drove through the high school, like she said.
Right. So, but, so there is an entrance from the garage. It's not a detached garage, right?
No,
okay. So hypothetically, again, not making any accusation, but hypothetically,
right,
you could put somebody in there and take off somewhere at some point.
Sure. I mean, I would think a camera would catch that. Maybe not if the headlights were off.
Well, but again, if she, like she said, she drove at some point, she drove by the high school or whatever.
Right. It was daylight at that point.
Daylight. Yeah. Well, yeah. So she could have, you know, put something in her trunk or put something in a car. And
I mean, at that point, I mean, within minutes, if not already, police were called when she was driving through that parking lot.
So again, I just
so that closes that window in.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to read chat.
It's interesting to go back and listen to some of this. Okay, we're going to switch back to Silvers and more of his bullshit because that's what we're here for. But maybe we'll go back and play some more of these.
Scene. It is Thursday, September 26th. Hope everyone's week.
This is from 2 days ago. So this was Thursday. And then he did the one we watched in the beginning of this on Friday.
Is going great, and the weekend's right around the corner. Let me take a moment to say, for those in Florida dealing with hurricane, please be safe. Get your families to a safe place. Make your decisions wisely as to what you need to do to either evacuate, ride out the storm.
Yes, your Kiwi mate. I don't think she was ever paid or like on a retainer, but he got rid of her. Yes.
Or whatever it is you need to do, just be safe. We're all thinking of you, positive thoughts. And like here in Atlanta with heavy rains and anywhere else, maybe flash flood warnings, little byproducts of this hurricane, everyone please be safe. All right. It is September 26th. And 7 months ago today, February 26th, 7 months to the day, Sebastian Rogers was reported missing from his home. 15 years old, missing teen. Where is Sebastian Rogers? 213 days gone. Gone. One of the first posters we saw, one of the first flyers we saw was this. Whether it be this flyer, whether it be the FBI flyer, the one in between, or this most recent one right here. There are phone lines, tip lines. If you feel like you have a good tip, well, let me say it like this. I've had people email me and say, hey, would you preview or would you review my tip? What I think happened to Sebastian, for whatever the reasons. My response is the same. If you feel confident in the tip that made you type out to me.
And I'm sorry. You guys know I like to torture you. Kelly J, what do you mean by why would Chris come in hot and heavy? In which aspect? Into the neighborhood with his flashers on? Are you talking about when he got home? Are you talking about why would he come in hot and heavy anger with all the allegations being made? I'm not sure which part, but I probably can answer that. Flower Nana, yes. So Tony entered the scene at the end of April, beginning of May. His first interview sitting next to Seth was in May, the beginning of May. And all of the bullshittery had started with Chloe. And that there's actually live streams detailing that because there was a big fight that ensued. And Tony was like, Seth picks his team. I had nothing to do with him letting these people go. Yada, yada, yada. Hey, Janice. Heather drives me nuts. I don't even want to talk about that one because she couldn't even tell who intentionally leaked the phone call that they intentionally recorded between Chris and her. She just absolutely ridiculous. Okay. This guy just drives me nuts and makes my brain go.
Please send that to the appropriate law enforcement. Send it to Dog the Bounty Hunter Tips at manhunts.1. Okay. You can email the FBI, the TBI. Okay.
1-800-TBI find only.
I'll do all I can. I'll look at those tips. I've reviewed several of them. In some cases, I can go myself and look, and that's I love doing that. However, as you know, I do not live in the area. We're going to talk about the recap of searches, how I got back to the area, boots on the ground. So it may take me a moment to get back. It may take the contacts I have both in Hendersonville and
100% feisty Nana. She did. Oh, and he's made contacts in the areas too. Imagine that. More bullshit neighbors. And by the way, Brittany, you can continue to call me a fucking grifter or whatever you want to. Brittany, not Miss Brittany or Brittany J. Brittany, the supposed neighbor that's been running around in chats. The reason she don't like me is because I called her on her shit months ago and told her to stop her fucking bullshit. She'll say she's going to email you shit. She never does. She goes from chat to chat, hyping shit up. She's been a constant thorn in misinformation, confirming details to creators that are non-existent, such as the fake neighbor. Then she says it's not all this shit. That's why she don't like me. So that's why you'll see her in chats talking shit about me. Talk all your shit, Brittany. I know exactly what you're up to.
In West Tennessee, Memphis, Horn Lake, Mississippi, and South Haven, Mississippi. It may take a moment. So I've got a couple I'm going to reply to tonight and say, hey, yes, I think you should run with this. And then if no one's working on it, if no one's pursuing it, next time I'm back, I will. At this point, let me say this video is alleged, in my opinion, my thoughts, my beliefs. I may forget to say that down the road because I'm going to say some things of what I believe has happened to Sebastian, and it's my opinion. And what makes it great is everyone who's watching this or sees this to have their own opinions, their own thoughts, and we can attack the areas of concern and bring Sebastian home. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I think I've said it a lot, but in case I haven't, there's one goal: find Sebastian Rogers and bring him home. Okay, so recap of searches. That's what this video.
That's the only thing I agree with Silvers on.
Is going to be about. Recap of searches starting this past Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday. I was able to hit Memphis, South Haven, Horn Lake, drive the 240 miles over to Hendersonville. By the way, 3 hours again. 3 hours again. Go and search Hendersonville, just outside of Hendersonville, and just outside of Hendersonville. 7 different locations. Been bringing you along. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the tips. Thanks for seeing things that maybe I didn't see. And we'll go from there if there's things we need to follow up on. Okay. So where do we start? We start here, and that is construction site. Construction site. Here's a quick pause from my video. This is a tower crane. So if you're not familiar with tower cranes, this is what you're looking at. Right? They're building these additions to St. Jude's. This was my first time to go by there. Okay. So Chris ran one of these 3. Maybe there's a 4th one there. One of these 3 or 4. He no longer works at this.
As far as are any of them different? No, they've all done the same antics, truly. Like most of them, Leon, have done the same antics, connected themselves to neighbors, kept the Proudfoot family under surveillance. Meanwhile, has anybody in the chat seen any videos of Seth's house, them keeping Seth under surveillance? Just asking for me because I have yet to see it. Besides the one picture that TRev757 took when he was at Seth's house and posted in his Discord that got leaked out. Has anybody seen people surrounding Seth's house, keeping him under surveillance, following him around? I'm just curious because I have yet to see any of that. But as far as the boots on the, no, they've all pulled the same antics. JLR was one of the first. Betty's done the same thing. You had Nancy Drew, who was keeping the Proudfoot family under surveillance for T-Rev and sending him videos, driving by Chris's RV. You've had Silvers. Dolly was out there, the neighbors. I haven't seen any videos of Seth.
Location. He's wherever he is. I'm not sure where that is. But this is in Memphis. And how I saw this site and came upon it was on my way to a search location. And that search location came to me from a subscriber, an email. Essentially what we had is a Google image that appeared to be, it could be some type of bag, white in color. So it was sitting in the water there in Memphis, 2.3 miles from the job site. So I jumped in the car while I was in Memphis, and I headed over to see what this might be.
The whole thing of them making Seth and his team mods for their channels, that also is a self-serving thing for the channel holder. They can absolutely vet those channels without needing to make them a mod. It gives their channels legitimacy as part of the team. They did the same thing again, going back to the Marvon's story. They did the exact same thing with Letitia. They made her a mod of their channels, so their channels stand out, so they look like they're pushing information from the team. It gives them legitimacy to the new people that are coming into the story and watching. People buy the shit. That's what they do. It's another part of the grift. Unfortunate, but true.
And here it is. Okay. It was a tent. The good news, well, two good news. One, there was no body there. It was not a body bag. It was a tent. And you can see it sitting on the ground. The water was very receded back. You can see the video, see how far back the water went. This was at Wolf River Harbor. And it just fit in a spot to where, allegedly, in my opinion, as I believe Christopher Proudfoot's involved with the disappearance of Sebastian.
You're making some hefty allegations there, Silvers.
In my opinion.
It doesn't matter if you say allegedly in your opinion. You're making some hefty allegations and inciting more hatred towards the family of a missing child for no reason.
With him working at St. Jude's and this being a few miles away, maybe he could have placed something there. Cleared, it's not that. It was a tent, okay? Now, from that.
Meanwhile, there's an entire homeless population, some bad weather in the area, tornadoes and such, you know, things.
There in Memphis, I also, and before I actually went and saw this, I was also given the information that there was an RV park 6 miles from this location, north. So you have, pretend like this is the mountain north, the RV, south 6 miles where this tent was seen on Google Maps, and then another south 2.3 miles to the job site. So a little over 8.23, 8.4 miles to the job site. So I went there asking if Chris Proudfoot had stayed there. Specifically,
the RSO searcher that was on the ground in the beginning was Brothers Underwater Recovery. That's Ronnie Wagner. Again, Brothers Underwater Recovery, Ronnie Wagner. He is 100%. That is not alleged. That is factual. He is 100% a registered sex offender.
The night Sebastian went missing. And the answer is no. Okay. But at this time I'll pause because what I thought would be a 1 minute conversation turned into about 15 or 20, at the end of which I was, I'll use extremely emotional. Some of the information I was given. Okay.
Of course he was extremely emotional. He's emotional about looking in the mirror. I'm sure it's like a fucking jump scare every day. Frights. I really don't like this guy.
So I'm going to do that in a separate video. I'm not going to put it in this video. This is a video just recapping the searches. I think it deserves its own video, and that should come tomorrow. And there's some things there that just, as I said, I became extremely emotional. And the reason was it confirmed some things I thought that I knew.
They're hyping up. See, I don't know why anybody's giving Nick any legitimacy anyways. Nick is no different than JLR. Actually, JLR has a bigger impact on this story than Nick ever has. JLR, even with Dog, like JLR has he's got a bigger reach. And I hate to say that, but Dog is kind of a nobody in this arena. JLR has a bigger channel, bigger reach. He did a lot of damage, in my opinion, with the misinformation he spread in this case. But he had more of an impact than Dog and Nick do. Nick is just another misinformation crony that has some attorneys who are willing to come out and make some statements behind him to intimidate people. Truly, like, it's the games they play. And so what he's doing is he's throwing his weight behind these channels or going in and like making his presence known. This is what I see him doing to try and intimidate people because he's got these attorneys and this company, At Night Media. It's a whole, if you really look at it, and they need to stop fucking me up here with the misinformation so I can get to the whiteboard and show you guys that. Because if you really look at it, it's no different than a Tim Ballard, OUR. You take Seth talking to T-Rev about the 501c3 and what they wanted to do there. You put all the players together. It's the same thing. It's using noble causes to make names for themselves, to stir up, to rage bait people, to get attention on themselves, to act like they care. It's the same shit. It's just a different wash, rinse, repeat. Good evening, Body. Is that right? Body? Did I say that right? I hope I did. Yeah, absolutely. Nick's just a distraction. He's no different, but he has less of a pull, in my opinion, than JLR did. JLR has the numbers and people really believe JLR shit. Without Dog, Nick would not have any pull at all.
So we'll be discussing that. Stay tuned for that coming tomorrow. So I found this tent. Move on to the next location. Next location brought me to South Haven, Mississippi. Okay.
South Haven, Mississippi. They call it the top of Mississippi. So if you don't know the lay of the land, Memphis, Tennessee.
We're just bloop, dropping off a body.
Is at the southernmost tip, bottom point, southernmost.
Okay. For the newbies in here, I got a question because there are some newbies in here. Has anybody in here not heard? Put a 1 if you have not heard this mofo, Silver's on the scene, say the bloop dropping off a body, because I'll pull that up. And number 2, put a number 3 if you have not heard or seen him sniff the air and don't understand why we call him Sniffers. A 1 if you haven't seen him bloop dropping off the bodies. And 2, or a number 3, sorry. A 1 if you haven't heard that. I'll pull him if you guys want me to. A 3, a lot of you haven't heard it. A 3 if you have not. Okay, I'll pull him. I got you. Okay, I'll let you listen to this while I pull it.
Point of Tennessee on the west side. I believe it's Arkansas meets on one side, then you have Mississippi down below. So this, when you leave from Tennessee, Memphis, and go into Mississippi, as they call it, the top, because the northernmost part is South Haven, the city of South Haven. Found myself there. Why? Easy Days RV Park. Okay, so one of the best parts about going to Easy Days was this. I was able to meet one of the people I've been communicating with. Now, the person I met, I hadn't spoke to verbally before. I did not get to meet the person I spoke to verbally before to get information, but I did meet someone who I've been communicating through email. The nicest, the absolute nicest. I think I'm nice. Such a nice person. Gave permission to look on a particular part of the property. Just what can we do to help find him? Just so much good information. There was no more information about whether Chris was there or not. If Chris was there, then I believe he was staying with someone else, or at least had the RV in that name. So I go to search here. I let them know I was doing so. And Tammy came. So Tammy joined. Thank you, Tammy. We'll take a moment. Look, clapping now. Tammy, thank you so much. Very nice person as well. You know, I have to say, I don't think I've met a person yet, and hopefully I don't, that's not just good vibes. You know, Silver's on scenes like a dog, right? I can feel the vibes the moment I'm around you. And hopefully you feel those good vibes coming off me, because I can tell immediately whether I'm getting a good vibe or not so good vibe. And whether it's people at RV parks or people I give flyers to, or, you know, definitely the people that have come and helped me search, great vibes. Okay, so Tammy joined me. We go into the woods. You see that video at the Easy Day. All right. Quick detour. Okay, so the first one's going to be bloop, we're dropping off a body. All right. And this is actually, hold on, let me go in order. So this is the first one he did. Well, not this first video. He's done videos before this. He actually did videos driving by at the Proudfoot home, videotaping, all that shit. He did all that too. Let's go to this one first. Okay, so this is when he's out across from the RV park that Chris's RV was parked at. And you'll see what he's doing here.
Hope you can see that. So I wanted to be hands-free. Here's how my mind thinks. I talked this through. So, as I said a moment ago, right there, there's the RV right there. There's the RV. Okay. And so, if you're looking out those windows, you're looking right here, and there's huge opportunity to bury a body. Allegedly, in my opinion.
Huge opportunity. He's right across. You see how close he is to the road too, Nana. I agree. I agree. Like, it's so out of control, and it's good to see you, by the way, too. But he's right off the road. He's right off a main road. And this is where Chris's RV was parked when they said that they ran away and went on vacation. This is the Horn Lake Rapids.
I'm just not seeing anything that is showing me disturbed ground without going way out there. My other theory is, who would come up here? Who would be
Kelly? 100% agree with you.
Be crazy enough like me, Silver's on the scene, to come up here,
yes,
and look into this. Okay, when you get right here, you feel the cool air from the dampness and these trees. So
this will allow you guys to see how this has escalated over time and how we've gotten to where we are today with this fucking clown. Sniffers in the air.
Okay.
What up, Jonathan? Right, Titan? Body, he doesn't do lives. He does all uploads. So he records all of it and then uploads them as videos and drops them that way. So when he first came on the scene, he was actually doing content, like trying to get noticed by production companies and some baseball, like kids baseball. He's cleared his channel of all that stuff. I actually when I started reviewing him, that was one thing I requested. I was like, please take this shit off, because there was a lot of kids and stuff. And I knew his crazy antics were going to just get out of control. But he does all uploads. He doesn't go live. He is also the one that was emailed a tip about the guy from Walmart, that their whole concocted stories about this Walmart sighting of Sebastian. You know, the guy walked up and he heard him say Sebastian, and then the other guy stomped his foot and said, "Proud foot." This is that fool. He's a whole train wreck.
Ooh, this place.
You'll get to hear him sniff shortly.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone here? Not here to bother anyone. Looking for no trouble. I'm searching for Sebastian Rogers.
Hey, Fred.
Man. Oh, God. This doll. Okay, I need a moment.
He about shit his pants. He needs a moment. Hold on. By the way, Helen, if you're still in here, I found another creator that follows up everything they say with right, and I about clipped it and sent it to you because I was driving myself insane. I can't listen to Spanky now without hearing that. Right, Venom? Just go be a weirdo somewhere else.
I just don't feel safe going back in there.
You don't feel safe.
Whew.
I have not listened to you, Body. I will have to listen to, like, it's excessive. Spanky, who is Justice for All, aka Clutch Them Pearls, aka Hey Sweet Tea, the asshole himself. He's the melatonin of YouTube wallpaper. Some like to call him, we call him Spanky. He says it after everything he says. Right? And I pointed it out the other day when we were reviewing him, and it's just been one of those, ooh, like, why did I notice that? Because now you can't listen. He's hard enough to listen to, but now you hear that and you're like, ah, but you're not who I was talking about. There's another creator that not even in this, like, anything with this case. It's just crazy.
All right, I'm going to conclude this. I'm going to say, if Sebastian was here,
I highly doubt you say it nearly as much as those people do. You're probably good. You're probably good. I say like all the time. Or does that make sense? Does that make sense?
I don't think he's here. I think he's buried. If he was left here, how do you explain him getting here? So, cut tape.
I forgot we do that too, Duchess. Cut tape. Cut. Silver's on the scene. You'll see a good display of that coming up.
All right. So, I'm gonna get out of here. I just don't feel comfortable going in there. I got the willies. Silver's on the scene has the willies for going as far as he did. I just don't think it's safe to walk through there.
Everything. Jones and me left inside a few times. Oh, hold on. Hold on, I'm gonna slow him down. There he is. There she be. Okay, I gotta mute too so you guys get the full effect. Okay, hold on. Listen closely here. Let me mute so you guys.
As far as he did. I just don't think it's safe to walk through there. I think I have an okay sniffer smell. You know, like a dead animal or something. Thought I caught a smell of something, but I want to walk over here a little bit more. He's buried, right, folks? Wouldn't that be?
You just said it again, Joneson. He's buried, right, folks?
The best way to keep him hidden for life?
He actually is obsessed with Casey Anthony too. All right, let's go on another journey right quick. So I'm going to take you guys to another journey. All right, this is the bloop dropping off a body.
Okay, so like I said, maybe Christopher Proudfoot came here on the early morning hours of the 28th, maybe even the 27th, and maybe Sebastian was in the car with him. He keeps saying we. Maybe we was him. So just a thought to add to the theory there. More to come on my way to Hendersonville. Once again, this is exit 87, Highway 40. So I just pulled out of that speedway and I just wanted to show, I'm actually going to this Love's here, so I'm going to pull in here, but you can see as you get closer to this freeway, you have the Love's and you have several other gas stations, okay? The big Circle K. So this is much more populated, even at 3, 4, 2, 5 in the morning. There's going to be more people here. There's no way you would, this is before that gas station, but there's no way you'd come here. Chances of being seen. So you have to have gas or you're going to run out. Then you're busted, right? So you go to the gas station that's got nothing but woods around it and it's low key. Not expecting it to have.
Tracy, speaking of JLR and Magnolia, they haven't been covering this case recently, but I think JLR is worth this perfect match. I've actually linked articles about Magnolia in previous comment sections of videos on my page. You might be interested in checking them out with the Washington Post and stuff. You will see why they're such a good duo and they belong together, in my opinion.
Video footage or security footage. But over here, oh yeah, you're most definitely getting caught. All right, just wanted to show that difference between that speedway and this Love's and these others that are around. More to come. Coming across the Tennessee River, hard to see going across it like this, but I'm just thinking, Silver's on the scene. Coming across this river, there's cars, you see them, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, maybe you just pull over and bloop, drop off a body.
Bloop. We're dropping off bodies, right? Chris was at work, but we're just bloop, dropping off a body. Let's do that in real time.
That are around. More to come. Coming across the Tennessee River, hard to see going across it like this, but I'm just thinking.
Let it go, Joneson.
Silver's on the scene. Coming across this river, there's cars, you see them, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, maybe you just pull over and bloop, drop off a body. Headed to Hendersonville. More to come. Silver's on the scene. All right, Silver's on the scene. As you can see, we're coming into Nashville. Coming over from Memphis. Did stop off in Jackson. And so look, it pulled out of Memphis around
I don't know who was in here defending him about what he was said, but let's go back here and turn closed captioning on for those that didn't catch what he said, because I don't like to be misquoted. And if anybody's going to defend this epic piece of shit, you probably are in the wrong chat. Anyways, let's listen to this again about him talking about a body being buried.
I think I have an okay sniffer smell, you know, like a dead animal or something. I thought I caught a smell of something, but I want to walk over here a little bit more. He's buried, right, folks? Wouldn't that be?
He's buried, right, folks? That's what he said. Not if he is buried. He's buried, right, folks? It's on your screen. You're welcome. Okay, back to blooping, dropping off bodies.
115, 117, and it's been a leisurely ride. Not trying to go fast, just, 70, 80 miles an hour, 75 miles an hour. Stop several times, the Jackson stop, and then you have a couple of other stops for bathrooms, to grab some food. So if you take all those stops, there's at least 2 hours there. So it's coming up in the next 18 minutes where it'll be a 5-hour period. Take those 2 hours off. That drive is easily 3 hours with no worries. Just kick back and relax. If you didn't worry about stopping and maybe you kept your speed a little higher, 2.5 is possible, but 3, I'll just top it out at 3. You should be able to do 3. So let's use that. I'm going over 17 hours. So I'm going over to get my RV. 3 hours one way, 3 hours back, one way over. That's 6. 2 hours to do the business, to hook.
What?
Get back up. That's 8. And I think 2 hours too much. But anyway, 8. Where's the other 9 hours, Christopher Proudfoot? The other 9 hours.
Maybe sleeping or, handling business.
That's the question. So we're rolling in. We're basically in Nashville now. 20 miles I will be at the Texas Roadhouse. And I want to look around there and make a video. So, but this one was to show the drive over. Look at the Jackson gas station. I think 2 things came to my mind when I was there. One is maybe it was on the early morning hours of the 27th or the early morning hours of the 28th. And then it really, from the last time, this didn't even enter my mind, but it did today. It really made me understand why. Because if you're needing gas, you get off the exit, you go to the first one, or you go the one with the best price. Love's always has the best price compared to the Speedway that he went to. But yet, as I was standing at that Speedway today, you can see from the video, that's the most inconspicuous, the most hidden. That's the one where the least amount of people would have been at any time of the day. And that kind of rings true that you would want that. He would want that, so no one would see them. But I do think they were seen. They meaning him and Sebastian. And I believe the we that he keeps talking about is him and Sebastian. So anyway, that's the drive over. 3 hours easily.
Actually, not, but go ahead.
Join me for the next video where I check out and I may even put it in this one. I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to check out the Roadhouse and get a feel of that last time, allegedly, that Sebastian is on. They say proof of life that he is on video. All right. When you make this drive or you drive anywhere, be safe. Peace. Silver's on the scene. I'm back.
Every video he says Silver's on the scene like 15 times. Okay, so we blooped Oh, there's one more thing. Hold on. Let me go over here. Let me go back to this is the one from 2 days ago while I pull this other one up.
And, you know, part of our tip leading us there was from someone seeing like Sebastian there with a cat, keeping him company. And, you know, so I tell Sniffers too, when I'm pulling up to the location, hey, the first thing I'm looking for is a cat. And ladies and gentlemen, as I'm getting the shovel out of the car, as I'm getting the boots out of the car, I look over to the woods, and right at the tree line, a black cat with like a white neck. I catch him and her on the video going in, but it's...
He is also the one that went out and bought a brand new shovel after he saw a dirt pile outside of a park, and they were doing, you know, some resurfacing at this park. But he was like, oh my God, look at this. And then by the time he went back after he bought a shovel, the dirt pile had been spread out already because, you know, workers did their jobs. But this is that guy. Okay, what you're about to see is not my fault. Your vision, the lack of vision after this is not my fault. Do not come for me. Keep your comments as raunchy as you want, because this is a fucking bad camera angle all the way around. Some of you know where I'm going. Some of you don't. It is not my fault if your vision is greatly impacted after this. All right. Okay. Thankfully, it's just a short. I'll play a few of these for you. Do your balls hang low? Can you tie them in a bow? All right, let's go.
It's time for boots on the ground.
Not my fault. I already told you. I gave you a warning.
Here in Hendersonville, Tennessee, as we search for Sebastian Rogers missing over 5 months. Never.
These boots were made for walking, and that's just what he'll do. One of these days, his boots are gonna be sued.
Once you lace them up, some people call them the poop kickers.
No, sir, those are called hiking boots. They're not shit kickers, but go on.
Bring him home. That is go.
All right, I am again not responsible for your vision.
Silver's on the scene. I hope everyone's doing great this Wednesday, August 7th. Did you feel that? Did you feel that shake, that boom? Silver's on the scene just arrived in Nashville, Tennessee. You know what that means.
Did you feel that? Did you feel your soul leave your body?
That's right. It's time to dig. Digging up the truth. Stay tuned. More to come. Bam!
Yeah, that was impressive. Let's go here. Hold on. Let me. Sorry. I'll spare you for a minute. Here's this little bloop part, though. Hold on. Let me go back over here and fix you guys. All right. Now I'm just getting corny because this guy just drives my nuts.
Silver's on the scene. Live from beautiful San Diego, California. I'm here on business. However, that will not distract me from keeping the focus on finding Sebastian Rogers. Keep the awareness alive. Therefore, stay tuned. Later today, more to come. Thank you. Enjoy your Thursday, August 15th. Bam.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I'm the one that's lost my mind. Anywho, there you go. There's some history of Silvers. Okay, let's go back to this. This is also the guy that worked with a psychic months later, and they drew. Oh shit, let's look at the list. Hold on. I got the list right here in my phone. Give me a second. Let me find it. We did that one too.
GoPro, it's not zoomed in, so it's really hard to see. You hear me say, "Hey, kitty," because I wanted the cat not to be spooked and possibly lead me and Tammy somewhere. Now, Tammy never got to see the cat. I told her about it. I'm gonna call it him. I saw him twice.
Oh, found it. Okay. So in his working with the psychic, they found a warehouse, a shipping container, a trailer, a water tower, some sand, a circular thing, some storage, something with water, drainage, a highway, a creek, and an unoccupied building. It was the most mind-blowing thing you'll ever imagine. And that's extreme sarcasm.
Once at the tree line, as I got about 20 feet from him, he took off into the woods. And then right as Tammy was pulling up, I glanced into the woods, probably 30 feet or so in. I saw him again. And I thought, okay, great. He's possibly going to go somewhere that will lead us somewhere. And it's things like this, right? Something that's just telling you there could be something here. And that was it. Never saw him again. Tammy never saw him. So where did the cat go? Unsure of that. So we get into the woods. We're checking different things. And if you've watched the video, the biggest thing that popped for us was this. Okay. So when we come across this, we notice it's an area of like the.
Does anybody realize that Tennessee has tornadoes and like rubbish gets strewn throughout the woods? I mean,
woods where they're open, and this is you can see pieces of this sticking out of the ground,
Lord.
as if it had been buried. Took us both back. Right above it was this right here. You can see this right here.
All I gotta say, Silvers too, which is his wife, you gotta be a strong-willed woman. Babe, if you ever start acting like this, I love you a lot, but I think I might have you committed. Truly.
Was above it, and it kind of made a cross in a way. You hear on my video when I say to Tammy, "Hey, did this fall like this? Was this put like this?" So we jump in and we pull and pull and dig and we pull the bag out. It took a lot of effort to get it out of the ground. You can see right here, it was in there. Now this bag, I'll just say, ladies and gentlemen, this bag, okay, big enough for me to get in. Would definitely be big enough, in my opinion, for Sebastian to be in. Now this is a grill cover, so I don't have a grill. I know a lot of my friends grill. I don't grill really. I don't grill, I eat, right? That's the thing. They grill, I come over and eat. But this is for a large grill. Now, I don't know the RV world either, so I don't know if you take big grills like that. I mean, the first thought is this blew off of an RV, landed in the woods, and over time, dirt and stuff got on it. But it was big.
A grill cover. And somehow he's attempting to link into an RV. Holy shit.
Big. And I don't know if you carry that big an RV or a grill with you when you go camping. So it was very suspect. We pulled it up. We dug it to the ground. We did some metal detector. Nothing showed that there was anything there but the bag. I actually have photos of the name of the bag. So what I would say at this point is I don't see that this did have anything to do with Sebastian.
This is almost as enlightening as Spanky taking two different angles and two different light contrast photos of the same RV and trying to tell people that they were different RVs. This is about that level of bullshit. Spanky did that. He took two different angled photos of the same RV and tried to convince his subs that it was a different RV. One angle, the covers looked square, and one, they look rounded because the angle and the saturation of the photos was different. I mean, shocking.
But watch the video. This is where we come together as a community. Okay. If you look at this video and you see the name on that bag, and let's just say you are a neighbor or you have been over to the Proudfoots at some point in time, and you know they had a grill cover like this that they don't have anymore, or maybe there's a grill out there that's not covered. Allegedly, could that belong to them?
I expect you all now we don't even just have a belt bandit on the loose. Now we have a grill cover snatcher. If your neighbors are missing a grill cover, it needs to be reported to your nearest neighbor. Nobody else. We've got a grill cover snatcher, a belt bandit, a mysterious white car that could be anything, but it's probably like a 1970s station wagon with plates that they called in that they couldn't even get a view of the plates. But yeah, okay, all right. We're doing a lot here. Solved it. Everybody go home.
That's the part I don't know, but there was no signs of someone being buried here past just finding this bag. So we continued, went through everything else, and that was the biggest find we had. At that point, Tammy and I made our way over to Horn Lake. Okay. Now Horn Lake, as you come down from Memphis, okay, you come down from Memphis, you hit South Haven, Mississippi first, and then from there you go into Horn Lake. We all know Horn Lake, Yogi Bear. So there was a spot behind adjacent to Yogi Bear, about a half a mile down the road. The woods meet up to the back of Yogi Bear. But what has always caught my attention from day one is behind the Advanced Auto Parts, you could back a car or truck up.
What's really scary is that first video we reviewed of his has 17,000 views. 17,000 views. And I would say half of those people believe this bullshit, and are willing to spread it and add to the story and add it to their theories and paint like this is unreal. Unhinged. We have no indication that any of the parents are involved whatsoever.
And in about 20 or 30 feet be in the trees. And once you're in there, no one can see you. So I've always wanted to go in there. It is private property, but with the Horn Lake Police giving us that the ability to go on private property, basically saying to us, if you need to go, do it. If you're approached, let them know we've talked to you, show the flyer, and you should be fine. So we actually did approach the nearest home. It wasn't their property. Gave them a flyer.
White Pinto, I heard that Betty might even be looking for you recently.
Flyer, Tammy and I, and we went in. And so nothing was seen. You know, I was expecting, you know, because if you got to think about how I'm thinking on this, if an allegedly, in my opinion, Chris had the body of Sebastian and he took him in there to bury him, it would be not far in. It would, I would think, still 7 months from now, be noticed disturbed land. But the one thing that got me out of this location was the water. I did not realize the pond back.
Once again, he alleges or implies that he could have buried the body. I'll slow it down a little bit for you guys. They're not missing anything.
There was that big, didn't see that. It's just a standing water pond. And that's when you get into the water thing. And could he be there in the water? That's just a possible other theory. There's nothing.
The Belt Bandit's here too. Belt Bandit, you better be careful. There's a lot of people looking for you too. The Belt Bandit and the White Pinto. You're like almost on America's Most Wanted from what I heard.
I guess what I'm trying to say, there's nothing direct that to get law enforcement to go in there that really pinpoints that, because we're not 100% where Chris was staying the night Sebastian went missing. A little preview to tomorrow's video, I can tell you this, and this was told to me without me even, well, I take that back, I did ask. Chris was not staying on the job site. No one can stay on the job site.
Where did that even get concocted from, that he was staying on the job site? Like, where did they even fabricate that shit? That he was staying, what? That was never said.
No one can stay on the job site with an RV. So we kind of eliminate that. So anyway, so that wrapped up Horn Lake. So now I wanted to go to back to Hendersonville for just a few moments. Slide through there on my way back to Atlanta, check 2 locations that are really, I guess you could say, clear my conscience or clear me thinking that I've covered all my bases. And so Tammy and I talked, we said our goodbyes, really nice person, as I said, and we're both kind of like, you know, my biggest theory was he was taken to Horn Lake.
And by the way, if you're new here too, we're not mocking Sebastian being missing at all, you guys. After dark, we get a little choppy over here, and you can't listen to these people without just all your brain cells evaporate and throw themselves at fucking walls. Let's be honest. But we are not mocking Sebastian being missing whatsoever. Sebastian needs to be found and brought home. But these people and their dangerous theories stop people from looking. They are implying that he is deceased and people will no longer search. They jump right to something extremely nefarious to happen. No matter what your thoughts or opinions are, right now we don't have any answers of where Sebastian truly is or what happened to him. We have an open investigation into the disappearance of a minor child. That's it. And these narratives are harmful. They're dangerous. And people have just continued to do this for 7 months. It's gotten so out of hand, but please don't take us that we are mocking in any way, shape, or form Sebastian being missing. We're mocking the clowns and characters who have inserted themselves and created all the noise. They are a complete separate situation from Sebastian being missing. Sebastian's disappearance has nothing to do with these clowns and characters who have inserted themselves into this child's missing case for attention, clicks, and views. These are the noisemakers, and Sebastian's disappearance is a totally separate situation.
With the RV, with the 17 hours, with Katie making a trip over there, if I get into my feelings more than my logical thinking, I just don't feel that he's there. I just don't feel like I did before that he's there. Yet I do in Hendersonville. So my plan was to go to Hendersonville. We go through, we look at a couple locations, and we come home. But then Terry and I got connected. Terry Lynn and myself got connected. And we were planning on searching months ago. And
Did you search a parking lot with Terry Lynn? I'm asking for a friend. I can only imagine how that conversation went. Bloop. What's that? What's that? What's that? I mean, that woman talks circles. I can't even imagine the enlightening conversations they could have. Please tell me they were recorded.
And she got sick. So we connected up and I said, hey, yeah, I'll come to you. So we drove over on Saturday, straight there, 3 hours, like I tell you. We get there, I pull boots on and I jump into the woods with Terry Lynn, right? Once again, good vibes, good people. Terry is good people. What is it with these T's? Tammy, Terry, but good people. Okay.
Terry Lynn's such good people that when you review her, she attempts to strike you. She also says that her little titty photo, you know, on her avatar is copyrighted and tries to use that in a privacy complaint. And then when they don't get that way, then random emails will start coming and threatening you. Yeah, she's such a good person and she can't handle criticism whatsoever. I'll give her something. She's been out there searching in the same spot for over and over again. Terry Lynn's also the one that put her YouTube channel at the bottom of a missing child's flyer. Terry Lynn's also the one that is caused nothing but chaos and confusion, brought the dog handler, the fake dog handler, and tried to give her some credibility. She lended her credibility to that. Bobby, the bullshit neighbor, and her went to school together. All the stories, the poker party, you know, yada, yada, yada. I could go on forever. Yeah. Fuck Terry Lynn.
Okay. And just as nice as you can be, Silver 2 said the same thing. And Terry and I didn't really search together like Tammy and I did, like side by side or following one another. Terry had already been there in this location for a while. I show up and I'm able to jump in and kind of go behind her and look at different places. And I kind of like that because it's like a second walkthrough, a second set of eyes. So you see that video and, you know, the biggest thing there that really stood out to me that
Slim, you remind me of something. She is the one that called out the fake neighbor that had the pressure washer story that went on Brooks's channel, or she recorded that interview. Then Terry Lynn said that, you know, that was fake when she was talking to Bullshit and Bobby. And then she went back on Brooks's channel and tried to claim that she didn't know it was fake and like went along with Brooks's story. Yeah, she flip-flops more than a fish out of water.
Was this right here? Let me find this photo right here. This. Okay, so this is carpet. Everyone knows what carpet looks like. I used to sell carpet. I now sell another type of flooring, but hardwood flooring, but carpet. And, you know, it looks like it's been there for a while, more than 7 months. But I pulled as much of it up as I could. It was in the ground. It had just been there a while. I did find some more.
And if anything I'm saying is new to you, I've reviewed all of this. All of these situations we have reviewed. Brooks is a whole other shit show in herself.
A little piece of it to another area. So people people dump everything. There are more tires there than anything you've ever seen. But nothing there. And but that was one thing that stood out to me. You know, didn't really see anything, disturbed ground, or, you know, there's mounds. I know one comment had been like, look at that mound, but you have to realize the terrain too of where water runs through and how these are just, you know, nature makes these mounds. But yes, they do look like mounds. I 100% agree with the commenter. It's just going back to this situation and where we are, to give you my thoughts. When I'm in West Tennessee, Horn Lake, Memphis, that to me is burial. That is hiding the body, allegedly.
That's burial. Are you fucking joking? I'm going to turn closed captioning on and back that up just so you guys can verify what I am saying is actually being, well, it's right there on your screen. There you go. That to me is burial. That is hiding a body, allegedly. Like, these people really are confused by the word allegedly.
My opinion. When I'm in the Hendersonville area, it's more like out in the open, right? Out in the open. And that's more what my eyes are looking for. Okay. Someone had mentioned, hey, like a memorial or, you know, sign or something, not a sign like an actual sign like this right here, but like something that like you can tell someone was doing something purposely because someone might be here. But
Bodie, no, she usually takes weekends off though. Usually what I've seen, she doesn't come live on weekends.
So we did this, that was Saturday evening. So then I stay over Sunday before I met with Terry again, I was able to go here. Okay. Now Drake's Creek, give you the lay of the land. Drake's Creek, as they say, runs through the city of Hendersonville. I'm not sure how far it goes, but it goes. It's a long, winding, running creek. So I searched 1 mile from his home, that area around Warsham's, as well as 5 miles from his home near Mary's Magical Place. And if you haven't noticed on my videos, Mary's Magical Place, Katie stating that's his favorite playground, sits on one side of Drake's Creek. On the other side of Drake's Creek is very commercial, and that's where the Texas Roadhouse is.
We already went there with you, sir. Get to the point.
So something about that's the last place he's seen on video, allegedly. I believe Katie might have even said in an interview that he wanted to go play after they came out of Roadhouse. He said, well, he knew his favorite place was right across the creek, and you have to drive over there. You can't, if there's a way to walk, there may be, but I'm not aware of it. But you drive over or drive around, because there's a big drop off from where, if you were to walk out of Texas Roadhouse, there's a video I have of that, and you'll just see it drops off it down to the creek. And then, so there's something about that. I have been there 3 times now. So this is where I saw the dirt
Bodie, they're answering you in the comment section. She was on Crabtree this morning.
mounds by the actual playground. Came back, those were gone. And then when I came back, also wanted to get to the creek, because if you walk into the woods and just try to see the creek, you can't. It's like berms. It's like mounds of sticks and trees and stuff that build up through the water and leaves and stuff falling. So anyway, so I went there. So then this is the moment I'll tell you why I feel more about the Hendersonville area as I do the West. So there's really 2 reasons. I'll start with Terry. Terry's great people. Thank you, Terry, for all your help. We'll do this again. I'll be connecting with you again for sure.
Sheila, are you still in here? You might have fallen asleep. Hearing people say that without knowing like what she has done and where she came from and how she just appeared in this case is just frustrating to me.
And, I got to thinking when I was in Horn Lake, I know Terry, I think maybe I'd seen a video or something where she went over there and actually searched. But more so, I was thinking she does all of her searches there in the area. She's local there, and she just knows. I say in the video, Terry keeps the awareness alive. So thank you for that. I mean, it's better than anyone. And so that's one, logical thinking. And 2, I connect my feelings. I try to get out of my head, as I said in the video. I'd never do it on video, and that is mainly out of respect for Sebastian. It's just something that I'm trying to connect. I don't know. It's hard to even explain what I'm trying to say, other than just in my feelings, clear-headed, show me a sign, point me in the
Man, he has really started to use the emotional manipulation and his feelers on his audience. He has really amplified his grift. And I don't think he is necessarily grifting as in the money sense. There's something else he's getting from doing this, but it's a different type of grift. It's the same thing. It's exploitation. It's all, gross.
the direction where you may be, if that's possible, if that's something that can happen. And I do this on every search. And the only place I've ever felt, if you will, a response or a feeling after I speak is in Hendersonville, specifically around Drake's Creek. So that's what led me back to the areas.
He's an emotional manipulator. He's an absolute emotional manipulator who circle talks and uses the same type of bullshit power of suggestion over and over and over again.
I had done some digging at the creek by the playground before. After stopping digging, I had felt a physical touch. So I had to go back to that spot. You can see that in the video. And I feel now that there is nothing there. But
the Belt Bandit, run! The White Pinto. You guys are too much.
I still got a feeling, but not the feeling that I was looking for. And the same thing with over by Worsham. So when I make my way back to Hendersonville, which should be in a few weeks, boots on the ground, that creek may be focused for me again. Okay. So I did those 2 creeks. I did one creek, 2 different spots. And then from there, I left.
I just don't understand how grown adults are doing this. I just don't understand. It is not that hard to not do this. It is not that hard to care about missing children and want them all to be found and not do this shit. You can go out there and search, but to continue to exploit it and push narratives that we have no fact basis behind is dangerous. It's just unnecessary. And they do it over and over, profiting off of people's pain. It's truly an art. And people have made entire careers out of it and continue to do it. It's truly disheartening. Our justice system needs changed so much. And we have people like this doing this.
And I went to meet Terry again. And both times searching with Terry was based off her theories of what she believes, her research. And after telling me that, it's legit. I mean, I couldn't say, no, I don't believe that, or no, I don't think that could happen. It definitely could happen. So that's why we put our search efforts there.
Terry Dean, I'll have to check the timeline on that. I think he was involved. He just wasn't getting traction, possibly, but might have been around the same time.
I guess here would be the big thing that stands out, as far as fines.
Roll
There's
trash.
A lot of trash here. So let me state that first. A lot of trash. This is where people just literally drive by, and I don't even think they stop in some cases. They just toss out. It's literally like a big dumpster, if you will. I think one of the comment was like, it's like a dumpster. So I did find this bag. This boot was the only boot in here, but I found the other one a few feet down the way. As I said in the video, I don't know that these have anything to do with Sebastian. I know there's been comments. Here it is.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Is a photo. If you think that it does, send this somewhere. You know, if you think, I don't think it is.
Yeah, bombard law enforcement with more useless tips. Great idea. I feel so bad for law enforcement in this case. Truly, I feel so bad for what they've been bombarded with. The unnecessary bullshit.
Or it does. I've never heard he had boots missing, shoes missing. I've never heard that. Anything I've ever heard on the shoes was all of his shoes were accounted for at the house.
Oh my God. Now we have, you guys in these accounts make my night. Now we have a T Silver 757. You guys are the best. That's all I can say. I freaking love you guys so much.
Therefore, he's barefooted. So I don't see where these would be relevant. I know some comments have said, hey, why don't you take these to the police? Well, you know, I found clothes before in Horn Lake. I tried to give them to the police. Christy, also good people, found more clothing. They don't want to take them because of the time. It might not, I mean, it's like, how do you know that was clothing worn by Sebastian? So, but if you feel strongly, if you want me to send you the location of where these are, if you're in the area, I can. I mean, if that's.
Oh my God, stop. Just stop.
If you feel strongly, because I'm telling you, they're going to be there because I believe it to be trash. Someone was possibly taking them to the Goodwill or whatever, and they just tossed them out of the car. But
then why are you even citing your subs? Oh my.
If you know someone that says he had boots like this or he had shoes like this, then let me know and I can go back and get them, or I can get with Terry, or we can figure a way to get them if you think they're relevant. I just don't think they are. So just to answer it, when people say, why didn't I take them? If I don't feel it, I don't think they're relevant based on what I know of this case and the research I've done, then there's no reason. There's no reason, in my opinion, to take them. So just to kind of sum that up. And then we searched there. Ladies and gentlemen, this was like a, like I said, it's like a dumpster, but it was like a bowl. Picture a stadium, and you're on the field, and you're looking up at all the stands, and on either side, there's really basically three sides. 90 degrees is up, straight up, down. At best case, these were 70 degrees. I think the side I went up on was more like 85. It was literally almost straight up and down. And on that side,
that's called a grade.
The road is so close, if you're on one lane, you can just toss stuff, and if it's got weight to it, it'll just roll down. Everything from couches to tires galore, and toys, and a lot of bottles and stuff. Normal. It's just a lot of trash. So. But
Helen, if you can still hear me, I will. I'll tell him. I didn't even see what you guys were talking about.
If you feel strongly and think that maybe you saw something, you're in the area, I can send you a location and you can go check. And this could be a location I revisit when I come back, boots on the ground. Okay. So that kind of sums it up. I guess, the great thing was, I don't think I've ever searched 3 days in a row. I think it's been maybe 2, and then I moved to another city, basically.
So this was Thursday. Then Friday, he did the whole amp up. I'm done. I can't do anymore. Then he did the amp up of supposedly talking to an unvetted, unsourced, supposed coworker of Chris's. Put all these new theories out here. Now Spanky is trying to fit them into his narrative about a car that we don't even know existed, based off of camera footage that supposedly exists, or what they're seeing in the cameras. And of course, you got to have jammers in there too, and all. Like, I'm done. I'm done. This is unbelievable. And every night they're doing it. How can these people sleep at night? Right, Charlie? Right? Yeah, a barbecue grill. What? I just don't. I don't understand it. Like, I'm exhausted of debunking these fools. Between the belt bandit bullshit, that conspiracy theory, to try and hone in on these threats that they're getting that we've not seen any reports of whatsoever, that people, they're recording everything when they're out there searching, right? But they can never actually get these people who are following them around on camera. They have somebody just reaching up and cutting serpentine belts off of cars. I can't even understand this anymore. These are grown adults, grown fucking adults, and a missing child. They've stripped all of his dignity. I don't know how they sleep at night. Money dancing in their heads. Yeah, you're probably right. But can you imagine if this was their child for 1 second? We know how some of them would react because, Jesus, they play the victim for the first hour of their nightly shows. Brittany J. I just can't. It doesn't make sense. This is so harmful. Right? Right? Revival? Agreed. It just makes me so sad. When you go back to the basis of this case, there's a missing kid. And all of this noise and the finger pointing at the parents is so harmful because it's stopped people from actually keeping their eyes open and paying attention. Sebastian could be just like Alicia Navarro. Sebastian could be just like Connor Jack Oswald. We don't know. It's just too much. The spirit boxes, the EVPs, the psychics, the painting of narratives, the Sweetie Pilos, the Donna Serafinas. It's hard not to lose hope in humanity. Truly, it really is. Crazy to me. Terry, I have not heard fake neighbors, fake fam. Yes, absolutely. Cat the doggy hunter. I love your name too. It's just so disappointing. It really is. Like, and I'm sorry, that Penny or whatever her name is, that was coming. So in the beginning of this, when I snapped off, that's been coming. What the fuck does it matter if I live in Arizona? Like, what are you trying to do? Intimidate me? You ain't doing that, you fucking scared bitch. Go back and sit over there. I don't understand this shit. Truly. Duchess is just so sad. Yeah, and they're making like the tacos or burritos are making their rounds again too. And I thought, I really wanted to see that they just cared about Sebastian and wanted Sebastian home. But to see him like entertaining this bullshit again, it's disheartening. The one person that came on here said what she had to say, and to my opinion, has not entertained any of the bullshit, was Gabby. Gabby's point that I got out of her interview, of course I was there for it, but was that both of them, Seth and Katie, loved Sebastian. That Sebastian was very loved by both of them. Yes, she talked a little bit about some of the problems she witnessed, but she still took it back to they both love their son. She didn't lie to fit a narrative. She didn't do any of that shit. She said she didn't know Chris. I don't know. It's just so disappointing because these are grown people doing this shit. I don't even know what to do anymore. Like KP's friends, KNS. That one was so uncomfortable for us too. Like, because I didn't know what we were getting into. I had no idea. Oh, somebody asked me in Dietz's chat today about why wasn't I invited on panels when the Proudfoots have been up and stuff. They've gone on panels that were open panels and anybody could have gone up. I try to avoid contact with the family. I have had communications with some people, but those aren't for YouTube because even at the end of the day, no matter anything I know from anybody, which it's not communications extensively, anything like that, it's not an ongoing thing, but it's not for YouTube, period, because I can't vet any of the stories. There's nothing I could do to further anything, and I'm not going to. I base stuff on the facts. And I would never be one to come out here and try to weaponize a relationship or get a relationship with family members to build my channel. That's not how I work. So respectfully, I have chosen to keep a distance there. I do absolutely feel terrible for Chris and Katie and Seth. Seth has led to a lot of the chaos and confusion, and I can't overlook that. Oh, I adore her too, Donna. But I can't overlook that at all. But I don't want to be a part of re-victimizing them either, or coming out here and like defending. I don't know what happened to Sebastian. I can't tell you. There's things that I wish we could vet. There's things that I wish, and I think in time we will find out. But I've always kept a separation between me and family members. I'm not doing this on their behalf. I'm not fighting on their behalf. I fight for victims and their families across the board. Because now we have Dog the Bounty Hunter going on Jennifer Coffindoffer, dropping things like the death penalty and in Tennessee. Statements like that. And then the reality is our justice system is so fucked up. We're watching potentially innocent people being executed. It's all too much. Victims deserve their voices. Their families deserve protection. And there has to be laws that change to stop this re-victimization and exploitation of victims and their families. It has to stop. That doesn't mean you can't cover true crime. It doesn't mean you can't have an interest or investigate or look into these things. It doesn't mean that. But where did the ethics and integrity go? Duchess, that's still one of the worst. Jennifer, I get really uncomfortable on panels, unless it's like my girls, that Chico, Duchess, there's all of my girls in here I could have panels with, and it would be, I mean, shit, you got Chico, Duchess, and I up here for 11 hours that one day, and we just kept on, and it was one of the best streams, and we just rolled. Never intended it to go that way, but it did. But that's because we have differing opinions on things, but we respect each other's opinions. They know that my mouth just runs, so they expect that. Like, everybody over here is very consistent of where they stand, but I get distracted with panels. Revival, whatever. I would take you on my panel any day of the week. But for a comedy skit, we still need to do the roast of nonsense. Everything's just got to calm down. Exactly, maximum effort. There's no crime here. That was a fun live, Duchess. That was. Leon, you can speak on parents respectfully. SS, I've gone on a few. Actually, I did a lot more in the beginning of this. I've gone on Grannies. I've gone on Queens. I went on Clues in the beginning before I learned out what she's really like. I've been on Truce before I parted ways over there too. I've been on Duchess's panel. I'm not a big panel person, but I have been on panels. I'll go up if I have something to say or somebody to confront or something, or I feel like I can lend something to a conversation. But in the beginning, when I first started out, I wouldn't at all. I wouldn't panel with anybody. Brittany J's been on my panel over here. That was a shit show in itself. I'm just not a big panel person. I get distracted really easy. Oh, Leon, I get what you're saying. Yeah. You know, you can have your thoughts and your theories and your opinions, but when you really peel it back and you look at the facts, are your opinions and your speculation based on the facts that we know from law enforcement? Are they? I will check it. I gotta look. There was like 16 emails and most of it was about the membership stuff, but I will try to check them and get back to everybody tomorrow. Yeah. I'm just not a big panel person. And I got ripped to shreds for that maximum effort. I got ripped to shreds for that. It was whatever it was. But that's the thing, Leon, like a lot of these people's opinions aren't based on the facts of the case. They're based on these extreme speculation and narratives that have been painted about people that they're going through their worst time. People are never going to react and act in a certain fashion that's going to be palatable for anybody. You put anybody under a microscope at the worst time in their life with a missing child, and we're all going to act like crazy. I'd be an inpatient already. There's no fucking way. Now, we're not all going to act to the other extreme either. And there's definite things that are problematic with his behavior, with Seth's behavior, but it doesn't escalate to the point of him being 100% involved in the case of his son being missing. I think they are too, Annie. 100%. They have had more strength through this. I just really hope that someday this stops, which I don't think it will. Yeah, for sure, JC, right? Yeah, Helen, I would too. I say that to Kyle all the time. I tell Kyle, I'm like, I would be in jail. I would straight up have snapped already. Those people came around my neighborhood doing to me what they've done to this family. I would have straight up snapped. 100% straight up snapped. And that's what they want, though. They're intentionally provoking them. I go back to, if you guys, so let me tell you some of my theories here, okay? And the reason I'm going to say this stuff publicly is because I hope maybe it gives people a difference. I mean, you guys have heard me say this before, but there is so much potential for him to have walked out of that house on his own. There's so much potential for him to have been communicating with somebody. We know that he was communicating with neighbors. Well, Seth was at work. Seth said so. We know that he was playing video games. If you look at Alicia Navarro's case, obviously she had communication somehow, some way that was untracked. We know that there is potential of him walking away. There's potential of him being lured. There's potential of him being groomed. There's potential of him walking away and succumbing to the elements and a tragedy happening. There's so many opportunities, and that's why I can't overlook that stuff. The scent at the retention pond has always bothered me. The fact that multiple dogs followed the same scent to the construction site and then it ended. That's always bothered me. But there's so many opportunities outside of the family. There was contractors in and out of that construction site at all times. He got home from school for a couple hours before Katie got home. What if he was interested in the construction equipment and would go watch those guys after school? I mean, there's just so many things here. We don't know who the contractors were. I'm sure law enforcement has looked into that. And I'm not saying that any of them did, but you've got to open up your mind here. There are so many things beyond something horrific happening by the parents. Could it be something with the parents? Absolutely. But law enforcement isn't even indicating that that's on the table right now. My cigarette keeps going out. Joe, and that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, Terry, it's the doom and gloom, the jump to the extremes. Like, it's just sad. It's really sad. Initially, I even in my mind was thinking about other peers at school. Was he being bullied? Did somebody at school lure him out in a group? Did they say, hey, meet me at the football field? You know, that was something that I kept thinking in my head. Was peers? There's just so much on the table that it's hard. And if you're common sense based, all of that possibility is still there. No matter if these freaking lights and the bullshit and the time frames and all that stuff, there's actually pretty simple answers to a lot of those things. The 17-hour trip, sleeping, picking up the RV, having a meeting, turning around and going back. Law enforcement knew where they were. But there's been some major lies that don't make sense. The GoFundMe started 3 days in. Bothers me. They're calling him a suspect. Like, law enforcement has not given any indication that Seth is a suspect. Absolutely, maximum effort. Yeah, I mean, all of what you guys are talking about is very valid. Tinkerbug. I'll have to look into her case. I'm not familiar with it. The one thing I will say is one of the first things we did when I first started covering this is we went and looked at the registered sex offenders in the area. And I will say law enforcement definitely checked in on those people and updated their files. Like you could go watch that on the site of them checking in and like knowing where everybody was too. That gave me a good resolve, like knowing that they were really paying attention. But shit, there's been people that have been lured out of their homes that are within the same neighborhoods. Still, like, there is crazy shit that happens. Oh my God, who knows what she's talking about? Let me go look. Oh, Jesus. Hold on, let me look. Probably just more clickbait to push a narrative.
So, hey guys, it's me. I'm coming from the MacBook. So
Oh yeah, she's doing the same thing. She's just taking up the other side of this whole Silver's on the scene. What he was saying about being in, yeah, that's what she's doing. That's all she's doing. Same thing. They bank off each other. They're pushing the same narratives. The team pushes out a narrative. They find something to run with. They fill in the gaps with all these other crazy conspiracies, and it just continues to regurgitate.
camera's not as good as the the Windows computer. So bear with me, but I've been doing a lot of research on this, and I know we've been talking about
This bitch has switched her theories so many fucking times. It's unreal. She'll hone in on something, push it like the bruising on the neck. Push it, and then she backs off and starts another one. And it always correlates with other people talking the same narratives. They just try to fit their own little. It's so much shit.
the case from the beginning, and we've been following it. We found some details of information about, when did the change happen? We went from a cordial mom and stepfather. Hey, Nick, it's nice to see you. Everybody that's in the chat, I saw Tony in here. Yes, this is a live broadcast. It is live. And I have air conditioning. I remember why I love my house. It has air conditioning. I forgot about that for a couple days. Seth, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. So we've been kind of building this case. Again, this is not.
We've been building this case. There's your simple solution right there. That's what she's up to. Trying to build a narrative, but she looks rough. Of course, Nick Tony and Seth in the chat. Of course. I just don't know what they're amping up for. Like, what's the next big push?
First time that we've start.
Oh, she's got a rolling banner trying to raise $4,500 for legal help.
Started from a blank board and built this case again, because when things start getting chaotic, people start forgetting information, forgetting for certain details. And in some of this misinformation and disinformation actually takes on a life of its own.
No shit, Betty. Welcome to the fucking party. Fuck, oh dear. I can't tonight. I have zero patience left. Have zero patience. Nope. She, queen of fucking circle jerk over there, the dumbass herself. They have found the most useful idiots. That's one thing I will say is this team is good at sniffing out the useful idiots. JC, look at all these channels though. Look at them. Look at Spanky, her. They're growing at high rates because people love that shit. They love the misinformation. They love the wild speculation. These people like to hurt other people. Hurt people. It's not their family, but yet they sit there and claim that they love Sebastian more than his own parents do. I've been sitting out here with you guys all night. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to show you guys. I have another horrible hemline shirt on tonight. Since my last bodysuit was trashy. Look I wore a tank top just for, because they can't stand my weird tank tops and they think they're so fucking trashy. These people, I was laughing. Somebody in the comments was like, that's trashy. Hello, what? Are you people okay? God. Just crazy. And they suck up to each other. Oh, this material is so good. It's just this one's a tank though. This one's a full tank from Amazon too. Super cheap. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, I love tank tops. It's 108 degrees here. It's fall, but I wish I could wear flannels and long sleeve shirts and sweatshirts. I'm ready for sweatshirt weather. I just crack up though, because I'm like, Terry, thank you. You guys are so sweet. I just find that funny though. All right, y'all, I'm out of here. Oh, hold on. I'll show you guys whiskey right quick. Hold on. Let me mute it. As soon as the little one's out of here, I'll show you guys something right quick. All right, I'm going to turn the camera on and show you. Look, yes, she's on my kitchen counter, but none of you eat here, so mind your business.
You clean them all the time anyways, it doesn't matter.
There's Luna. It's because the dishwasher is on, so she wants to lay on top of the countertop where it's warm. But this one's going for free.
No, she's not.
You wanted to get rid of her last night. Hey, look up here. No, you can't have my hair tie. Let it go. Whiskey, say hi to your friends.
Come here.
Say hi, friends.
She'll eat your hair.
Oh, she's trying to get my hair now. She's such a brat. Okay, hold on. Hold on. He wants attention too. Say hi. Say hi, friends. Okay, let me find the other ones.
Over there.
Here's another one. There's the smush. The smushy. And then here's these rodents. Say hi, Kiki. Any clips? They're holding down the fort. There's all the babies. Yeah, that's Whiskey. Here's Whiskey. There's Whiskey. She's trying to get my hair. Whiskey, what are you doing? What you doing? She likes to give baths. Dexter. All right, y'all. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Me and the animals are going to go hang out. That's Whiskey. Whiskey's the little one. Yeah. You haven't seen, I know, Marcy. Well, I haven't been in my office, though. I've been hanging out outside when I do these, usually just hanging out with you guys. I'm sure he'll make his debut again soon. Dexter's crying. She is getting big. Yeah, she's getting way big.
Who is she?
Yeah. Good night, Feisty Nana. Thank you all for the continued support. Sorry about the inconvenience again with the memberships. That should be all figured out now. Thank you guys once again for the continued support, though. I will see you guys probably not until Monday, Tuesday-ish, and it will be the whiteboard. We're doing the whiteboard as long as there's not any of this incredible, crazy narratives. I do think it's probably worthwhile to debunk Spanky, but I don't know if I have that energy in me right now. So, Revival, please come get him. Please. I'll ship him to you. Good night, y'all. Have a very good night. And please don't forget, tomorrow is Sunday. Do something for you. Do some self-care. Take a time out. Take a nap. Whatever you need to do. But disconnect for a little bit. It's really important. This is really draining on people's mental health. And I can't even imagine what this is like for the families. All right. Take care, y'all. Bye.